Welcome everybody to an episode of Kojay's Corner. This is our second video, and I'm doing it in a different way. I'm recording it live, and I'm gonna see how this works. If this is cool, we could do this template from now on. And I'm very excited for this episode. I'm excited for all episodes, actually. As you know, my podcasts don't come out around the clock. It's whenever it feels right to me, just a moment. I want these to be messages in bottles, and they've been wonderful, different themes, musical, interview, or just hanging out, chopping up with a homie or homegirl. And and we invite you to sit along with me and my friend and guests in these conversations. And so these are like little slices of life. So without further ado, today is a very special guest, as always, and this is my boy Rob Carlin. And let's just get him here. Let's get going. Welcome, Rob, to Kojay's Corner.
Hey Kojay, how you doing? Okay?
I'm doing great. Happy to see you, man.
Yeah, you too. It's nice to finally talk to you, properly talk to you, rather than just message you all the time. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the real thing. Text is great, and we talk a lot
Yeah.
to where I feel like I know what you're saying behind the words, but
Yeah.
it's just nice to be in real time, man. How you doing?
Yeah, definitely. I'm okay. Not too bad at the moment. Not too bad.
How do you feel about all the news with Snyder Cut, man?
I'm over the moon. I cannot wait. I really can't wait for the movie to come out. Just even for the trailer to come out. I think we've been spoilt enough with what we've given. To be honest, I'm happy with what we've got. But if we can get another trailer, then it's going to blow my mind. And then to see the movie, do you know? I actually had I had a nightmare about it the other night. Right?
What kind of nightmare?
You'll never believe this. This is what my nightmare was. I went to the cinema. To see the Snyder Cut, and before I went in, ordered a giant, the big bucket cups of Diet Coke. Ordered one of them, and I drank it all, and I was like, I'm still thirsty, so I went and got another one, drank it all, and then the movie started, and then I was bursting for the toilet, and then I was like, oh! And then I woke up and I was like, what? I'm like, that's what I'm dreaming about. I'm like, this is beyond an obsession. It's crazy, but it's just the way it is.
Oh
it's so
man!
Stupid.
No, that's not stupid. I have a nightmare like that. I don't really eat at the movie theater. No popcorn, because I'm like fasting mode, because I don't want to leave. I've only left once during the film, but it bothered me. It was for Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It wasn't even worth it.
All right.
But
okay.
but yeah, dang.
But yeah, I seriously can't wait. I think it's like this build up of like 3 years of not getting what we were meant to get, and now not only are we getting what we were wanting, we're getting more, and we're getting the uncut version. So it couldn't have worked out any better than the way it's happening, because if it didn't work out this way, then we would never have, the movement would never have raised all that money for suicide prevention and stuff. We'd never have all these friends. I would never have met you. I would never met anyone in the movement, you know what I mean? So I'm like, pretty much everything worked out alright, you know?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Barring the obvious, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
that's horrendous. But on the upside, it's like everything happens for a reason, you know? So I'm happy that we're getting the full uncut film, you know.
More, because for the longest time I thought we were going to get like just what he shot, and like the regular Steppenwolf. Well, not regular, the Justice Steppenwolf, right? And it just blew my mind that going to such lengths to film just 4 minutes of extra footage and getting the BVS designs Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
I think that was a seal. Oh, that's extra. Oh, it's extra miles, and I feel like it's like it still doesn't feel real to me. It feels like a hint, because I'm so used to it not coming out or no announcement. You know, it still feels unreal. And I think
I
it's
know
going to hit me like a
exactly.
ton of bricks when I see it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you feel. I've been saying this to people. I've been like, we're actually going to get a 4-hour, uncompromised version of Justice League. Zack's own vision, the one he wanted, the one that no studio executives have messed with. It's just going to be the full 4-hour version. The way it was
Oh,
conceived originally.
mm,
There's no interference, and it's like, for me, it's like that's all I want. Because I look at everything Zack does turns to gold for me. It's like when I look at some of the other stuff that has come out from DC, Marvel, whatever, it's like extremely forgettable movies. Extremely forgettable. It's like I like at the start you had Iron Man in the MCU, and you had the Hulk, and it was like I liked those. I thought they were great movies, and then it just went really fast downhill for me, and it
mm.
and it was just so like popcorn. There was no meaning behind anything. There was
Yeah, I
just
feel
nothing,
Marvel
you know.
lost some. In my opinion, I feel MCU lost stuff when Disney took over. Sure, they have a
Very much.
great marketing and
Hmm.
budget for this and that, but the problem is, I feel that they have like a cookie cutter male style,
Yeah.
and I don't want to say
Hmm.
it's like the MCU is copying it. I feel like the MCU is copying like the style and pacing of Pirates of the Caribbean,
Hmm.
like the
Yep.
pacing of Pirates of the
Yeah.
Caribbean, and also the tone, and I also want to say the censorship and limitations that
Yeah.
I feel carries over to the MCU ever since Disney
Hmm.
took over.
Yeah. Well, I think if you look back at the first Iron Man, and he was flying about to AC/DC.
Mm,
You remember that? And you're
yeah.
like, whoa, And now it's like the same generic Avengers theme every time. You're
Mm.
like, it's
Not a
so
fan, huh?
it's rubbish. Not anymore. Not anymore. I used to be. I used to be a huge fan. Let's see if I go into my cupboard. I'll bring out all my old Marvel T-shirts. And that. I used to be a big fan, but
Yeah.
it just the comedy killed it for me. I like my superheroes to be super. You know what I mean? Like the
Mm.
Hulk. I've said this so many times now. People will be bored if they've heard me on anything else. But like, you look at the Hulk. What can the Hulk do? Could you? You know what I mean? He's like Shrek. He's Shrek. There's no. There's no
Maybe that's why
like.
they did that. They don't have Shrek. DreamWorks has Shrek, so they want their own Shrek, so they did the Hulk.
It must
Ah,
be because like Hulk used to smash stuff up. Used to be conflicted. And now it's just like I'll take selfies with people, and I'm like, what? Why would I want to see that? What, a big green guy? What? It's just there's nothing to that. And then Thor became a fat drunk, and I'm like, okay, well, let's make fun of alcoholism. Hey, I'm like, what is going on here? And then just constant joke after joke after joke, and I don't even find the jokes funny. There's the
comedy
odd
is the
one that
quickest way to
makes me
people's
smile.
hearts sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, I get that, but sometimes like I've said this so many times. See, if I wanted to watch like crappy comedies, I'd watch like Pitch Perfect or something. I don't. I'd like my superhero movies to have a wee bit of heart. Like you look at the original Spider-Man, Sam Raimi series.
Mm.
Like the heart in that was phenomenal. It wasn't cracking jokes every minute, but I tell you what, like everyone that watched that back in the day, like you didn't get like a divide of I don't like this. Everyone was like wow. It was great. I don't know. Maybe I'm
No,
I
no,
get
no.
the
I
rose
I
tinted
feel you on that.
glasses,
The Sam
but you know what I
Raimi
mean.
Spider-Man ones, I think they
Hmm.
did the best justice of that like Christopher Reeves type of Superman stories
Yeah.
in a
Hmm.
modern way. And I
Yeah.
don't think
Uh huh.
even Superman Returns captured what the
Uh huh.
essence of like that classic Superman story as Sam
Hmm.
Raimi's Spider-Man did, you
Yeah.
know. I think
And you
that
know
had
it's
the good energy. And it still had a realistic grit. I like
yeah.
grit. I don't
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
everything being so posh clean and kind of too unrealistic, kind of almost
Exactly.
cartoony. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I know what you
And
mean.
you could
Yeah.
tell with the
I,
criminals, they're all like, they
hmm.
look like dads after soccer football practice, and they're just
Yeah.
like pulling crime. They don't like real guy, real
Yeah.
criminals. It's
Yeah.
like what?
It's
Uh,
like see like if you look at like BVS and you see KG Beast and he's like flamethrowering people and you're like, oh, you know, that's a scary criminal, and then like some of the criminals you see over in other movies, you're just like, what even is that? You know, it's just kind of some are just embarrassing. You know what I mean? So, but again, I was speaking to my brother about this, and I was getting so I was getting so agitated and angry,
Oh
just
no.
like because the thing is, you got to realize I grew up with the Marvel heroes as well when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I grew up watching Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Iron Man. Or not so much Iron Man, but definitely Spider-Man, Hulk, and Thor, and Captain America and stuff. And when I was a kid, like we used to watch the old Spider-Man TV show, and we used to watch like the Bill Bixby Hulk and all that. You know what I mean? So like we had
Mm-hmm.
like we grew up on these characters, and what my brother said to me, he's like, look, you got to, he's like, you got to calm down. Because I was getting so angry, right? And he's like, you got to calm down. He says, look, he says, they're not aiming this at you and me. He says they're aiming this at our kids. He says this is for our kids to grow up with, and I was like, ah, right, okay.
Mm.
I see what you're saying. And I'm like, it makes perfect sense to me, but what I don't see is, as an adult, why people would be so transfixed on the Marvel stuff. Now, today's Marvel stuff, don't get me wrong, there was like Daredevil Netflix, amazing, absolutely, I can't, I loved that. That
That
was,
was
for me, that
fantastic.
that was the last great Marvel thing did, you know what I mean?
I
Um,
agree in my opinion, yeah.
Great thing Marvel did, sorry, I'm not with it, my, my head's too
No,
weird.
it's cool. It's cool. It's
But
cool.
yeah, so like there's stuff like that and that's what kills me. It's like they've got the potential to do stuff for like adults, and they've got the potential to do stuff for kids,
Yeah,
but
they have a variety.
they seem to be cutting out all the adult stuff. You know, it's like just kids now. It's like focusing only not stupid stuff, but you know what I mean, just like a silly kid stuff. You
I
know?
think that's like the Disney way, you know. I think
Yeah.
they like to
hmm
make something that everyone can enjoy. You know, it's like, oh, I want
hmm
to watch BBS, but I'm watching my kid. I have to wait till she goes to sleep. You
Yeah.
know,
yeah.
so it's like the
hmm
accessibility. I think makes it um
hmm
kind of fun, but at the same time, it's weird because you know you get like Tony Stark sleeping around, and I'm
Yeah.
showing that to my kid.
yeah.
Um,
It's not setting good
no, male
examples.
chauvinistic world is not my cup of tea. I want to hand down to her, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just being a little extreme though.
No, I
But
know what you mean.
so I want to back up now.
yeah.
You were
Uh-huh.
you when? How long have you been a comic book fan? When was the first time you got into it?
Do you know? I don't even know when it was. To be honest, I've always liked comic books, and when I was maybe about, I think 11 or 12, I went into my first comic book shop, and I got I was obsessed with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
A
So I got a wee pile of those like different comics, and I loved them. But then it was like I wasn't old enough to go into town myself. You know what I mean? I know it sounds 11 sounds it was, but I was tiny. You know what I mean? I was like, so I didn't make my way into town until I was about 14, 15 or something. So then I
Hmm.
would go back, and like every kind of Saturday I'd spend a wee bit of time in the comic book shop looking at stuff and buying the odd one here and there. But I wasn't getting into it and reading until I was much older. And then Uh, do you know what really brought me back was The Walking Dead. I
Really?
got Yeah, The Walking Dead got me strong into comics because um, I'd seen the Walking Dead TV show, and I get told that the comic was mind blowing, and I was like, really? And I was like, is it that good? And I got it, and I read like, I don't know, I read I think at that time I think it was maybe about 60 issues in or something.
Wow.
And it was like as soon as I read one, I was like, right, I need the next, need the next, need the next, need the next. You know, and I read them all. You know, and I think I read about 100. I got up to 100 definitely. I remember 100 the 100th issue. But
Wow.
as soon as I started reading that, I was like, what else have I been missing? And then I started going back and reading. So and then since then, it's like I've got Comixology on my phone, so if I'm in work, I'm just reading through my phone digital, just boom, 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 boom.
Hey, that digital
And
comics are very nice.
they see, for me, I don't have a lot of time. Well, at the moment during COVID, I've got time, but generally, I work 8 in the morning till 10 at night a lot of the time.
Ooh.
And during the day, like it's like kind of split shifts I do, but then in the middle of the day, I go like look after or help my mum and dad out. My mum's got dementia and Alzheimer's, and my dad, he's like about 83, so I go over and help them out a lot. So like my day is taken up. Then at the weekend I've got my kids, so I don't have a lot of time to sit down and read my actual comics. But I've got thousands of comics, you know, but I don't have time to read them all. I'm working my way through, you know. But for when I do have time, like my breaks and work, I'll get on my phone and I'll go through Comixology and just check through it, and I've got hundreds of stuff on that as well. So it's a godsend to me. It helps me catch up with everything.
Oh, that's nice, and it's great. It saves on space with digital.
Yeah.
Now, is it streamed from an app or is it downloaded to your phone?
It's downloaded to your phone. You buy it like you just go on you
like any Kindle book, right?
Yeah. I just same idea. Yeah. I've also get comics on Kindle as well. So I've got the Game of Thrones comics and that, and they're outstanding. They're just brilliant. I've got a few of the Civil War ones from Marvel as well on my Kindle too, which is I've read all of Civil War. I read all of that, and I think, do you know what that was? Have you read Civil War? Marvel. It's like huge.
Yeah. When it was coming out.
Know? Yeah. Well, the thing was, when I read that, I thought that was mind blowing.
It was cool.
It was amazing.
I thought it was like the first time Marvel kept up with DC's Infinity stories.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It was Infinite Crisis and Infinity whatever.
I think it was just outstanding.
Infinite Crisis.
When I read that, right, and then I heard there's going to be a Civil War movie coming out, I was like, whoa.
I know, right?
I was so excited. And now, when I see what we got, I was like, oh, so disappointed. Because, do you know what they did? They had like little snippets from the comics in the movie. You know, I don't know if I want to say what happens in the
well, it's been so long
storyline, you know what I mean?
So
I can
all right, viewers, spoiler alert's coming now.
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
Okay, so in Civil War, like Captain America dies, right?
Yeah,
he gets killed, and there's Crossbones that does it. Is it Crossbones? I think it's Crossbones that does it. And in the Civil War movie, there's a wee newspaper article that floats up, and it has a bit of a picture of Crossbones on it and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, they're going to kill him. They're really going to do it.
Yeah, I thought that too, especially in the trailer. He's like, I could do this all day. I thought that was him towards the end.
That's what I thought, and I thought that was see, if they did that, man, I'd be backing Marvel. I'd be telling you, well, Marvel rocks. Look, they had the balls to do that. But when it all just at the end, it's like I can't even remember what happened at the end, but it was something like a phone call between Captain America and Tony Stark, and they're like, well, we'll agree to disagree. So, and I was just like, that whole movie for that, I was like, there was no point. It was just
like they almost killed each other.
It killed me. Yeah, but
here's my two problems with Marvel, and I used to be a Marvel fan too, and I used to hate DC, especially Superman. God forbid, right? But it happened. So I've been on that spectrum of hating DC before. I used to hate a lot of things. Thank God I've changed, you know?
Yeah.
You know, but one of the things, as a past Marvel fan, when I was seeing the films, two things broke my heart with Marvel. I felt they rushed a lot of things because I felt Civil War, that could have been a trilogy. Age of Ultron, that could have been an epic trilogy, or even a two-parter, you know? Like they fight him and he wins. Or like he's coming to be then in the first movie. In the second movie, there's like a war against all the robots, and the heroes lose. And then the third one, it's like in the future where he's controlled the whole world. And then it's like they're older, and there's a new generation that have to overthrow Ultron. Hence, Age of Ultron. I felt like Age of Ultron and what we got was Weekend of Ultron.
Minute of Ultron.
Yeah, and the second thing is I'm a romantic, and they screwed up all my love stories.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner and Betty gone.
Nothing. Yeah.
Tony Stark getting with was it Penny? Oh, I'm forgetting her name now. But anyways, I'm used to her being older, and actually she marries Happy at one point. They divorce, and she's always been like his Alfred. So when she was like younger and they got together, I was like, oh, that's weird. And also my Black Widow and Captain America, that was my couple.
Yeah.
You know? And then that didn't happen. So I'm like, they're kind of just shuffling the deck, you know? And
that's the crazy thing is you see so many people saying about Zack Snyder, and they're like, oh, he killed off Jimmy Olsen, right? And you're like, so? You know what I mean? I'm like, who cares? But then you look at, like, as you say, the stuff that Marvel have done, nobody says anything about it. You know?
It's unfair.
It's weird. Yeah. It's very, very one-sided criticism, I feel. It's unwarranted, I think. Considering all the stuff we get, it's just crazy.
What kind of world we in, Oven? So, when did you become a Zack Snyder fan, bro?
Well, I seen Dawn of the Dead in the cinema when it first came out, and that blew my mind because the zombies ran. That was the first time I'd ever seen a movie where zombies were running, you know, because it's usually they just kind of stoke towards somebody very slow.
They did kind of run like the old one, Return of the Living Dead.
I never saw that. Never saw that.
You should check it out.
I've never seen it.
The zombies in that one were actually very smart. There was actually a part where the zombies killed like cops, and then there's a zombie walking to like the cop car, and on the radio they're like, come in. Are you guys there? The zombie picks it up and he's like, send more cops.
Oh wow.
It's
awesome.
A good movie.
It's clever.
You gotta see it. Return of the Living Dead.
What was it? Return of the Living Dead. Yeah. I was never that bothered about zombie movies. I think I'd seen the original Dawn of the Dead, and I can't remember what other ones I'd seen. I'd seen a couple, you know, but it was like the very old, like the zombies come towards you, and I was like, well, just walk a wee bit faster and you'll be fine. You know what I mean? There's really nothing to worry about. But then you see that one, and you see like the baby zombie, the little girl running up, jumping a bit, and do you know the thing is, I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan, and that start came on. It was like The Man Comes Around, and I loved that song when it was out. It just came out not that long before that, but it was like ding 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 ding, and I was just like, it started. Do you know that it just started off good, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like this movie, and it was awesome. It was just so good, but I never thought, oh, I'll look at that director and find out what else he's done.
Right?
That was never in my mind.
Okay.
And I seen 300 and I was like, that was good. That was really good, you know, really, really good.
Dude, that movie took me back to Conan the Barbarian, 1982 days, and I love that. Oh,
I used to watch that when I was a kid, that Conan the Destroyer, Conan the Barbarian and stuff. But I would 300, I seen that and I was just like, whoa, it was like brutal and just savage, and like the slow motion stuff was again, that was another thing I'd never seen before, was the slow motion stuff, and it was just a bit slow and then speeding up, you're like, oh, and just everything about that, like you see like just the way Lee Nidus carries himself and stuff, and you're just like, this is and obviously Gerard Butler, he's Scottish, so he puts on the Scottish accent, and I'm just like, yes, come on, you know.
There you go, represent.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so again, I seen that, thought that's an awesome movie. I never made the correlation that was Zack Snyder either. I seen Man of Steel, same thing. And then when I seen BVS, and I was like, BVS just took me to 10 levels above. You know, that was like a different level of movie for me from everything. And then when I started looking into like Zack Snyder, I was like, wait a minute, he did 300. Oh, sorry, Watchmen as well. Sorry, seen Watchmen as well, and it was like when I seen BVS, I was like, oh wait a minute, he did Man of Steel, Watchmen, 300,
Oh wow,
and
so it
Dawn of
just
the
came
Dead.
together.
Yeah, and I was like, this is all the same guy, and I was like, no way, because it was like just one of those ones I'd never been a fan of a director before. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, like those Martin Scorsese films, and I'm like, you see Martin Scorsese and you go, right, this is going to be good. You know, there was always
Right.
that kind of thing, but there was never one that I was like, I need to see this guy's everything. You know, everything is that I need to see this. You know, because he directs it. Because usually before that, I used to be like a fan of an actor, and I'd be like, oh, I'd love to see his next movie or their next. But then that all changed with BVS, and I was like, I need to see all his stuff. And so it was like, it was later on that I get into it, but it was like once I'd seen BVS, I started watching like special features from everything else
Mm-hmm.
to find out about Zack as well, and that was the the special features on Watchmen, the DVD. That's what made me start to want to make my own comics as well. So that was like I started. That gave me the inspiration, and I was just like, it was
Wow.
just so much. It's the way he's meticulous about so many things, and the detail that goes into everything is just. It's like if my comics ever come out or whatever, then if I've got like 1/100th of the detail, I'll be happy. You know, it's just he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
Oh, totally. He he doesn't waste a single moment. And what I
No.
like about him, he's not just visually action driven. He actually connects with his talent and the actors,
Hmm.
and their performance is continuity from scene to scene because they shoot these out of order.
Hmm.
So for someone to direct an actor to be on point
Hmm.
emotionally in the right spot is amazing. Like
Yeah.
he
Uh-huh.
encourages people to go from here to here, you know,
Hmm.
and that's a really good visionary and people person who cares about his work. So it's
Yeah.
more because he won me over because I used to watch a lot of special features because to me that was film
Hmm.
school. You
Yeah.
know, I
Uh-huh.
couldn't afford to go to film school. I I actually was accepted into Art Center, the same one Zach went to
Oh wow.
back in
Right.
2006. They accepted me. They said we'll take
Hmm.
you, but no scholarship. And unfortunately for the film department at the time, they didn't have a film department. They had
Right.
set design and all that, and they said so for the film department, you have to supply your own camera equipment and all that.
Oh.
Now I know Zack Snyder and a lot of people like him have like parents who are photographers and artists in
Yeah.
the industry, so
Hmm.
they have resources. I had
Hmm.
nothing, so I was like, all right, I'll go to
Yeah.
community college. But I was glad I
Oh
went the
man.
distance and I did their high school
Yeah.
program, so I did have a locker there for a second. But
Hmm.
so when I watched special features, I
Hmm.
really liked 300. So I was watching the special feature, and then I saw like Frank Miller was next to Zack Snyder,
Oh.
and Frank Miller asked Zack Snyder, "Is like, hey, are you going to do Watchmen?" I was like, "He's going to do Watchmen?" So I was listening
Right.
carefully of Zack Snyder's answer because I want to know
Hmm.
who this director is, and he
Hmm.
said, "I'm going to do it very carefully." That answer
Wow.
won my heart. So then
Yeah.
I was on the lookout for Watchmen, and then when Watchmen came out and I
Hmm.
saw it, I was blown away at how little action it had compared to 300. It had
Uh-huh.
great quality action,
Hmm. Yeah.
but he totally focused on a lot of stylized storytelling and characters,
Hmm.
and to the point where it was kind of like not a Quentin Tarantino film, where
Hmm.
Tarantino definitely focuses on actors, but he
Yep.
has a lot of dialogue and monologue and characters telling
Hmm.
stories of scenes.
Yeah.
I think Zack Snyder does the same thing, but he shows those stories without less characters telling the story of it. Yet the
What
characters do,
was it?
you know, converse. And
What is it they say? It's like show don't tell. Something like is it
yeah, show
that you
don't
tell me?
tell.
Yeah, yeah. Uh huh.
And I love
No,
that
definitely.
because I feel he handles that well, and I felt it was very mature,
Hmm.
careful, and it was a good balance of real life grit that people call
Yes.
dark. I just think that's just real life.
Yep.
And I like grit and like details, the trash cans, like the background, the walls, a little bit aged and all that.
Yeah.
Like it feels like you've gone there before. And so he has grit, but then there's the over the top fantasy that you see in anime and comic books, and he blends them, in my taste, very, very well.
Yeah.
And after Watchmen, I became a fan. And then when Man of Steel came out, I was hoping the movie would just be heartfelt. Honestly, I knew he could deliver on the action, and I always wanted Superman stories to be at like a Star Wars scope. What I mean by scope is like world building, special effects, the music is epic, and that movie delivered. Every note was perfect. I was in tears the whole time I saw the film, from beginning to end. I didn't stop crying at different ways. But yeah, totally sold. And it's like your journey with Zach was like organic. You just love the film, and you're like, oh crap, that's the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's
crazy.
so cool.
Do you know you're saying about Watchmen and stuff, and you're saying about the action and you know, and you're saying like it's just real life, and this is one thing I've noticed myself is like there's parts of Watchmen that you watch that are incredibly uncomfortable to watch. You know what I mean? But it's a real emotion you get. You know what I mean? Whereas a lot of movies you watch it and you're just like, okay, whatever, that happened. And I think a lot of people that maybe that don't like Zack Snyder, that slate him on the internet, whatever, maybe this stuff hits home too hard. And I think maybe you know, because I think that like they're like in Metropolis, in Man of Steel, look at them, thousands of people must have died, and I'm like, you know what, that didn't actually happen. He didn't physically kill people, you know, but
Zod's army
he does these movies so well in such a realistic setting that I think people struggle to differentiate between, you know, like not that they struggle, they know it's a movie, right? But the subconscious might play a part of that. If you know, do you know? I'm not making myself too clear.
No,
but you
it's
know what
true.
I'm talking about?
I think to piggyback on what you're saying, because I have talked to a lot of different people. My jobs, every job I had, it's like a people job, service job, waiter, retail, even the job I do at the hospital. I see all kinds of walks of life and people come in, and I talk to a lot of them. And I know some people over my time, they view films as just movies, kind of like, you know, people like, I don't like wrestling, it's fake, you know, that logic where they're like, oh, it's just a movie, who cares? And a lot of those people are like, they feel off-put when they have to invest like compassion to characters, compassion to story. And when it's too serious, it's almost like it's boring. Like they kind of expect a mockery. Like they expect like a higher quality of Sharknado or something, you know? Like here's what bothers me about some Marvel fans. No, not Marvel, MCU fans.
Yeah.
Now there's so many different kinds of fans. Our fandom, we know that, right? So one thing about MCU, this MCU fan I don't like. The MCU fan that's like, well, comic books are stupid anyways, and Marvel knows it, so they're having fun with it. So that's the way to go about it, because it's not supposed to be serious. Multiple people have told me that, and that breaks my heart. Because it's like, you can't take something for what it's trying to convey, you know? Art, even freaking my little kid, when she watches Bubble Guppies, you know, obviously it's educational, it's kid, but there's some merit and message every now and then in some stories, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's some good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's important too. Every level, there should be a moment of like compassion and care. Because I think he handled Superman the best, because so many times I've seen Batman like kill inadvertently or on purpose, and he showed no remorse. So as a kid, since the Tim Burton film, I thought that Batman would kill just in different universes. And I thought the movie universe was that. Even like when he killed Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins.
I was just about to say that.
He's like,
on
I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
I don't need to save you. I was like, Yeah, you do.
That pinched my heart. I was like, whoa, this is the one time he killed somebody.
Yeah,
And then I was like,
yeah,
okay, he's not going to later. But then you see later on the
yeah,
film, he's just driving by and blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
Then Superman does the same thing.
Mhm.
And then he expresses remorse. And that's Superman
Yes.
day one in Man of Steel. And I'm thinking, maybe this is where
Mhm.
he developed his code, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And
Well,
because he
this.
even refused to kill Lex Luthor in BVS, and because he's
Yeah.
learning. And
Mhm.
I kind of have a similar weird story where I understand
Mhm.
it, and this is weird. I used to be a
Okay.
brat as a kid, a
Right.
really horrible brat,
Okay.
where how there's like bugs or lizards, and then I don't know, as a kid you just hunt them and want to kill them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I caught one, and then bad story. I was a kid, right? And
Mhm.
after I hurt the lizard, I was like, I started crying because I saw that it was in pain and it wanted to live, so I just left it alone.
Right.
But it just kind of, after that, I started having a love for reptiles and taking care of them and
Mhm.
having reptiles as pets. But there was a change when I realized how awful something is. Just like someone who's
Mhm.
an alcoholic and then they recover from, they're like, yo, that's too
Yeah.
far. I don't want to do that again, or I'm going to drink
Mhm.
in moderation. It's like you learn from going
Yeah.
too far. And he didn't plan that. Dude had no
Mhm.
fighting experience, and he's
Yeah.
fighting a general.
And not only was he fighting a general, but he's fighting somebody who's told him over and over, there's only one way this ends. Either you
Hmm.
die or I die. And
I think he provoked
he's
him.
also said he's going to destroy everyone on Earth. He's going to kill everyone on Earth, and he's got the heat vision coming out at a family who are cowering, and he's trying to kill them, and Superman's stopping that from happening. And he's like, so say he manages the family get out of the way, right? Imagine the family get out of the way. How's he going to stop him? How's he going to contain this guy? What,
Hmm.
put him in jail? What? You can't put him in jail. You don't have a jail strong enough.
Right?
So
Yeah,
what
because
are
they
you
didn't
going
make
to do?
Strikers Island yet. The
Exactly.
big
So
prison for
I
metahumans.
yep. So they've got, well, that basically. If Superman didn't do that, there would have been way, way, way more carnage again, because you know what I mean. It's like it's an impossible decision he had to make, right? But he had to make a decision, and as you said, he'll have learned from it, because again, that was part one of a 5-part arc, and this is the thing that most people don't take into consideration. They're like, my Superman wouldn't kill, and you're like, we'll let the story play out and see, because I'm pretty sure by the end of it, it'll be like there's reasons why he doesn't kill by film number 5, or if there is ever going to be a film number 5. I think you've got to let the story play out. It's like Batman, though. That's not my Batman. Batman wouldn't brand people. He wouldn't, and I'm like, yeah, he wasn't the hero of that story. That was the thing. He was not a good guy. He had the good intentions but the wrong mindset. And by the end of it, he realised in BVS. So obviously, by the end of the movie, he realised where he was going wrong, and that was his redemption arc.
Mm.
So you see, like, do you know? I noticed a wee thing the other day. I don't know if it's probably on the BVS reference page, right? But I don't know. I've not checked it, but I seen in BVS there's a part, and it shows you a big billboard, right?
Hmm.
And it's got like kind of half a face ripped off, like as if there's a billboard underneath it.
Yeah.
And you know the bit I'm talking about?
Yeah, the posters, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's ripped
So
around the face.
it's got what?
Were you talking about the
Sorry.
posters for BVS where they're ripped across?
No, 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 no. In the movie, I'm trying to think. It's it's down at the docks or something, and they've got the big billboard up, and it's just for a wee second, right? And I
Ooh.
remember seeing on the BVS reference page that there's like numbers on it and stuff, and like the billboard is torn, and you can see half a face on it, and there's numbers beside it, and it said something like a the first oh, I can't even think. The first time that Harvey Dent was in any of the comics was issue number whatever it was, and that number's beside it, and it's like half a
With
face,
the half
right?
face.
Yeah.
Wow.
But underneath, I can't remember what it says now, but it said something. Hold on, give us 2 seconds. Oh no, I won't be able to
Alright, it's
find it out.
fine.
But
This
but
is
it
your
said
show. We can
something.
do whatever we
It
want.
said something, and it said what? And it said repent AD or something, or AD repent or something. I was like, what even does that mean? And I checked it out, and it was like repentance, and it was like where you realise you've been going wrong, and then you make a change. And I was like, well, that's the whole Batman's whole
Wow.
arc in this. And I was like, wow. And I was like, that level of movie making is so deep. It's like he's giving you the little subliminal things the whole way, you know. I can't remember where I was going with that. I'm sorry. Totally lost my train of thought what I was talking about.
I think details and cool. I'll have to look out for that. That's cool because he does a
Yeah.
lot of little stuff. Like even when Lex Luthor
Yep.
was jailed, they said AC
Yes.
whatever, and it was the first comic he appeared in
Action
for Action
comics. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, little like
And
he's spilled it. And also
and
when Perry
then
White's like, this is 1938 anymore.
yeah, that's right. And even like yesterday when he put up the picture of the Joker, you seen it? Oh. And the Joker's like that. I put up on the wee Zack V Comics page. Tim Yoko had put it up, and it was the first issue of Batman comic, and it was the Joker, and he's dressed up as a cop, and he's holding up his Joker card. It's the exact same Joker card
Wow.
in the same
Yes.
pose, and I was just like, it's amazing.
Speaking of
Absolutely love
amazing, that's another amazing thing you do is Zack V Comics.
All right, yeah.
Now I
Well,
thought of making a video to point out all the references, like Man of Steel, how it's comic accurate. But you made a page dedicated to that, and it's beautiful. I even heard you mention it on that
thank you, man.
podcast where someone was talking about it with you.
That
How'd you start that, and how do you know and get all this knowledge for the comic books?
what happened was I was just reading my comics, and I've got a big DC collection now. I've got a big DC collection, and I was hearing on the internet, everyone's like, Zack Snyder doesn't understand the comics. He doesn't know the comic materials. He doesn't know. And I was just like, whatever. And I was like, I think he does, but that's okay. And as I was reading, I was seeing things over and over, and I was like, whoa, that's out of Man of Steel, that's out of BVS, that's out of BVS, that's out of... You know, and it was like, I was turning the pages, and literally every time I picked up one of my comic books, I was seeing something. And I started taking little screenshots, just like, I've taken little photos of the books, like, right, I'll take a wee photo, just to show if anyone ever says it, you know, and then I'll go on in the forums or whatever, or forums, what year is this? Sorry, I'll go on the Twitter post or whatever, and I can post up and say, look, he does know because look at this, and then ended up, I had about 30 or something, and I was like, do you know, I should put them together with the movies and stuff, and so people can see what's happening, and that's what I started doing, and as I did it, people started sending me them as well, and they're like, look,
oh,
I
really?
found this one. I get loads of people helping me out. I've got Martin Solari, he helps me, and I've got Alvaro, helps me a lot. There's Naveen, he helps me. There's I'm trying to think of the names of people. Pablo, there's a few others, but they always send me stuff, really cool stuff, and every time I get them, I'm just like, whoa, you know. So it's not just me. It started off just me. The first 30 or something were just me, and then everybody else started sending me stuff, and I still find loads of stuff myself as well. But I've still got a backlog. I've still got a backlog of stuff that I need to put up. I've always got a backlog of stuff.
Wow.
It's just I need to get through it. I've got some. I got sent one yesterday by Alvaro and Pablo, and they sent me a wee picture, and it blew my mind. And it was in is from Kingdom Come.
Mm-hmm.
You know Kingdom Come, and
Oh
there's a
yeah.
bit, you know, the preacher, and he's in the church, right?
Okay.
And I don't know if I'll put it up to the camera and see if you can see this, right? He's in the church. This is how deep Zack goes into details, right? And it's incredible. Let me find this here. Right, okay, I don't know if you can see this. I'll put my brightness up. In the church in Kingdom Come, right? On the stained glass window. Can you see this at all? I don't know if you'll be able to.
Decrease the brightness on your phone
Alright,
if you
okay,
can.
hold on.
That might
Yeah,
help a bit.
okay. You see Jesus?
Oh, that's in Man of Steel when he's talking to the preacher.
Yep. So,
Wow.
look, there, there it is in
Yep.
Man of Steel.
Hey. I didn't even know that. Oh my
I
gosh,
didn't
your
know
page
that.
is amazing, man.
I didn't know that, but that one's going up today. That was from Alvaro, and Pablo showed me that, and I was like,
Nice.
what? The detail is meticulous, incredible. And you know, every time I put up a little picture, it comes into my head what Zack Snyder said recently about, he said, you know how he's like, if you want to take a deep dive into my movies, you can go as deep as you want. You'll be satisfied, you know. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, he's right, man. He's right, because if you look at that detail, what other directors go to anywhere near those lengths? It'll be like, right, okay, he's in the church, and it'll be any regular church, but we could use this church here. But he's actually taken the same stainless stained glass windows and
Oh,
put it from the comic into the movie, and I'm like, this is incredible, incredible
the
movie making.
detail, the richness of like, in a way, he's complimenting the culture of DC
Hmm.
Comics, and you could tell that he has a plethora of knowledge and in his films, and that's what makes it rich. You know, I like
Yeah,
that so much.
uh-huh. It's just amazing. It really
Oh,
is amazing.
I'm trying to find this one thing because I found another thing that's outside of comics because he does add
Hmm.
a lot of stuff outside of comics, like from
Yeah.
Greek myths, the
Yes.
the Gita, other stuff from Asia, you know.
Hmm.
And there's this because you know the classic painting of the Last Supper with
Yes.
Jesus
Uh-huh.
Christ and his disciples.
Oh, is this Watchmen? You
No,
talking
no,
about
okay, I
Watchmen?
found it.
No?
So let me see. Hopefully, I can show this. This is from my Instagram. This is one thing I
Right.
found. And I was like, oh, I'm so proud of myself. But
Nice.
Last Supper right there,
Yep.
the
Okay.
glare. And then
Hmm.
they have those doors, and they're found in Egypt,
Right. Okay.
Indonesia, and Mexico, right?
All right. Okay.
Those doors.
Wow. Right.
Then,
Oh.
and it was like a Last Supper. So that's something I found that I was like, hey,
Wow. That is
because
cool.
because if you look at the doors, the middle one is the longer one.
Hmm.
Same here, but this is upside down. Interesting. His Last Supper and those doors are upside down at Wayne Manor.
Wow.
So stuff like that,
It's
I'm like,
interesting.
that's not an accident. Exactly what you said, you know. Everything he
And do you
does
know?
is planned to the shot. And I think that's beautiful. That's comic accurate because my favorite comic book
Uh-huh.
movie of all, fortunately,
Hmm.
is not any of Zack's films.
Okay.
His
That's
films are number
okay.
two for me.
Right.
No, but my favorite one is The Crow
Excuse me. Oh.
because when you make a comic book,
Hmm.
especially one that's so like each panel is telling a story, not just the dialogue. Like each
Uh-huh.
panel is like almost a work of art that you could frame, like the
Yeah.
time drawing and all that. When I
Hmm.
expect to see such a concept comic book film, because there are
Yep.
commercial comic books. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
lie, because that's why some shows like the CW or on TV works because they come out once a week, like comics come out once a month, and there's a
Uh-huh.
series. But there's also the cinematic comic books like Batman Hush, you
Hmm.
know, or
Yep.
like For Tomorrow, where there's a high concept and each page, each panel has such care detail put into it. And then when you go to Zack Snyder's films, he does the
Hmm.
same thing with each shot.
Hmm.
And to me, that's comic book accurate because you're taking
Yeah.
care of each shot uh, in a dynamic way that
Hmm.
comics do. And what I mean by dynamic is like you have tiny shots focusing on like you know when Martha Wayne was shot, and then
Yep.
you see the pearls
The
in close detail,
Yep.
like they're big
Hmm.
like a planet. That's stuff you see in the comments. Or like dynamics. See how my hand is here? See other stuff, everyone's just always in the medium shot, you know? It's like a multicam, like a sitcom, you know?
Yep.
No shade thrown to it. That's a style.
No.
But
Yeah.
when there are high concept stuff, and that's comic book accurate too, like all of it is. And I think he captures that beautifully. And
yeah, he does.
Dang,
it's
so good.
Isn't it? Mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is, man.
Unbelievable. So good.
Oh, wow. So good. Ah, man. You know what? There's one thing I noticed that in BVS, the theatrical has that the director's cut doesn't have. It's this, and I want you to watch out for this and see how you feel about it.
Is it 30 minutes less?
It's actually longer, but it could have been 2 seconds longer or 3 seconds longer.
Right. Okay.
So when Clark Kent, when he comes to see Lois for the first time in their apartment, she's in the bath, right?
Yes.
And you know they have a little worry moment, and they decide, hey, let's just make love and sleep it off and talk about it later. I know I've done that a few times. So sometimes it works.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a relationship, you're stuck, you don't know how to talk. You're like, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I love you. I ain't leaving. I gotta show you physically. I know I've done it like twice, at least. So, okay, so that scene, there's this part where his glasses fall on the ground, and there's like this pickup shot, you know, like a still shot, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, he takes off his shirt, he, you know, moves in on her, and they do that. And then water, you go back to that shot, and the water splashes the glasses away. Now, when I saw the director's cut, they a little bit more, but the scene where the water splashes the glasses away is not in it.
Oh.
It's the one thing, one shot for a few seconds that's in the theatrical that didn't make it to the Ultimate Edition, aka director's cut.
Wow, never.
Keep an eye out for that. That's weird because another thing, like in I don't know if you saw Troy.
I did a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So the director's cut of that, they added music and changed score to 2 scenes, whereas in the theatrical they didn't have music and it's different type of music in one scene.
Right.
That I thought was better. It's just weird. It's like, it's just interesting how there's a difference. And next time I see Zach, I'm gonna ask him about those glasses. I'm gonna say, what happened with those glasses, man?
Well, do you know, I only ever saw the theatrical cut once in the cinema, I think.
See, I saw BVS 6 times in cinema, 2 times IMAX. Well, I saw Man of Steel 10 times in theaters.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. See, I was trying to break my sister's record. She saw Avatar 9 times, so I was like, I'm gonna beat you.
Well, see, for me, it's just finding time. That's my problem.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I can't do that now. Not because of COVID, but seriously, I barely have time. But go on, sorry.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I hope I can do it for Justice League when it comes out, and I would be, if we're still quarantined, then hopefully. The problem is the cinemas aren't open over here.
Same here in my state. I have to drive like 16 hours to another state that cinemas are open.
Right. Okay.
So I'm contemplating that because I took a week off of work to see Snyder Cut, even at home.
Well, we've got the whole of the UK. The cinemas are closed, so and we can't travel abroad. So I'm hoping. I would love to see it on the big screen IMAX. That would be the dream. But see, to be honest, as long as it comes out, I'll see it at some point. But I just want it out for just so Zach's got his product out. You know, that's the main thing. But selfishly, I would love to see it on IMAX. That'd be mind blowing. That'd be amazing. I'd love that. It'd be so good.
Do they let you rent theaters out there?
I've never heard of it here. I've never heard of them doing it here. Yeah.
Because over here where I am, you can rent theaters.
Wow. Yeah,
because
I've never heard of that over here.
Because especially a lot of theaters here are digital. And I know that because I've seen a few movies where they screwed up and then the screen turns to a Windows page like on your PC. I was like, hey, okay.
Wow.
But the advantage of having digital,
Mhm.
if people rent a theater, they could bring a DVD or Blu-ray, and then
Right.
they play it there.
Well, I'll have
Because
to check that out.
I'm planning
Mhm.
to, because I saw little rumors and hints that they're releasing on Blu-ray sooner than later.
Mhm.
So when I get that, I'm gonna
Right.
rent out a theater and we're gonna watch it.
That'd be
Whoever's
so
around
good.
or whatever, I'm gonna make it happen. It'll be like a
That.
traditional thing, like once every 2 years, maybe. That's my goal.
Oh, that'd be
And you
brilliant.
gotta come and
Brilliant.
see. Oh
I'd love it. I'd love that,
yeah, that'd be fun.
man. Mhm.
Oh, dang. So what else are you like loved about this movement? Like, when did you get involved? Actually, let's backtrack. When did you get involved in the movement
It
and
was
why?
it was pretty early on, because what had happened was the theatrical cut came out, Justice League came out. I went and saw it, and I absolutely loved it. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was amazing, and I went 3 times to the cinema to see it, and don't hate me yet. So what
No, I'm
happened
not gonna
was
hate you. I saw
I
it twice in
loved it.
theaters too.
I loved it the first time, and I was telling everyone, I was like, "This is amazing. This is amazing. You got to watch it." Second time, I was like, "Yeah, it's good." And the third time, I realised what was going on. And what for me was the reason I loved it was like literally about 2 or 3 scenes that were just like, oh, like that, and the rest of it, I was just kind of brushing off. It's like, okay, whatever, whatever. But then like the scene where Flash runs round and touches the sword to Wonder Woman, and she catches it, turns it up, throws it through the paradigm and stuff. I was like, whoa, that
Yeah,
was
they had some cool
amazing.
stuff, but that's all
You
the
know,
Zack Snyder stuff, huh?
yeah. Well, basically that's what it was. A scene, and I was like, these little scenes. I was like, that was incredible. That was incredible. And like the kind of Heroes Park scene bit, there was parts in that were just really cool. The history lesson scene, I don't know if there was another scene, but there was just a few real standout scenes for me, and that was the bit I was just transfixed on those bits. And then the first time I saw it, that was what stood out to me. Second time I saw it, I was kind of just waiting for those scenes, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
like the second time I went, it started off and it's like, what was it? Can you fight a hippo or something? You know what I'm talking about? Like
Oh
the
yeah,
start, like
yeah.
Henry
In the
Cap.
beginning.
And I remember the second time I saw it, I was like, whoa, wait, I forgot this bit even happened, And I was like, I don't get what is the significance of this? And then the other bit that stood out was like the newspaper with Prince and
Mm.
David Bowie and stuff, and it's like, and Superman, they've gone back to their own planets or something. I was like, what? But again, I ignored it because the good bits were coming. And then the third time I seen it, I started seeing loads of bits, and I was like, oh, what? Oh, do you know the other bit that stood out the first time I saw it, that I was just like, oh, I didn't like that, because I'd never thought I'd be saying that the first time I seen it. But one bit that I saw was at the start, Batman fights the parademon on the rooftop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a criminal there, and he's like, Alfred, talking into his thing, and I was like, whoa, he wouldn't be so careless saying Alfred in front of a criminal standing there.
Or leave
You know
him
what I mean?
there.
Yeah,
Even.
yeah, oh yeah. So like that stood out to me, and I was just like, oh. So anyway, sorry, that's you didn't ask for all that, but I'll tell you anyway. So that's what happened. I seen that, and I was talking to my brother about it, and he's a huge Zack Snyder fan as well, but he's not really on social media so much. But
Mm-hmm.
I said to him about it. I was like, we were speaking about it, and he's like, apparently there's another cut, and I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, apparently Zack Snyder's got another cut, but they messed up with it so much, because I'd heard about everything that had happened and they'd stepped away and stuff, but I'd also heard that he got his friend Joss Whedon to take over. And again, I wasn't a fan of directors as such at this point. You know what I mean? It was like I didn't know who Joss Whedon was, so I was like, all right, well, he's got his pal. I didn't realise that was Avengers Joss Whedon. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so I just trusted that he's just finished off the bits that Zack needed done. And then when I went back and watched BVS, and I was like, wait, that is not his movie. That is definitely not his movie. And then I just started looking online, and I was like, just typed in like Snyder Cut, and I think the first person that came up was Fiona, and I started reading what she was saying, and I was like, oh wait, what? There is a cut, and everybody was talking like, yeah, there's a cut. We want to see the real cut, and I was like, yeah, we do. But literally at that time, it wasn't like today. It was like a couple of hundred people, 300. Oh, there we go. So it was about 300 or something, and it was just people chatting about it, and we were all like, yeah, let's get this cut, because we don't want that, the crappy cut, you know. We want to see all the good bits that I saw. I wanted to see the rest of it, and at that time, it was, for me, it was just selfish, like, I want to see this movie. And then the more details came out, the more it was about, like, whoa, this guy, Zack Snyder, got kicked down at his lowest point, you know. And I was just like, no man, and it became way more than just wanting to see a movie, you know. It was like, at the start it was just, I want to see a movie, and now it was like, no man, this is a real injustice what he's went through, and nobody should have to go through that. And that was, from then on, I was just in, and that was it. And it's weird, because my wife says to me, like, why are you so obsessed with this, and why are you always like every day you're like, she's like, where do you find the energy to go and look, and, you know, like, just constantly be on Twitter and look? And I'm like, I don't know what it is. There's something there that I need to just go for it. Like, there's been maybe things, and maybe it's happened in my life that I can relate to that, you know, just like, I've been screwed over at times really badly, you know what I mean? And then obviously I've never, thank God, I've never lost a child or anything, but like, I've been kicked at my lowest point, you know what I mean? And I know how bad it's been, and I'm like, yeah, nobody should be going through that. And maybe just that's what's been making me push, because again, if it was just about the movie, it would have came and went probably. But now that we see what the movie is, I'm like, I couldn't be more excited for it. I really couldn't. It's just,
Yeah.
like,
You know,
even just
I have.
that
Oh, sorry, go
Hallelujah
on.
trailer. Sorry, I was just saying, even like that Hallelujah trailer. Like, the minute that came out, I'm like, look at the difference in the tone from anything we got from Justice League, you know. It's just, I remember Zack saying, like, on Vero, somebody said, before that trailer came out, and they said, are you going to put Come Together back in as a theme tune for the trailer? And he said, no, something better. And I remember at the time, I was like, how could it be better? Because that Come Together is just phenomenal. It goes so well, you know, and I couldn't imagine it being better. And then Hallelujah came out, had tears, and I was like, yeah, he knows how to do it, man.
And I think it's good
nailed
because
it.
even the Come Together song, it reminds me of it has a Jimi Hendrix style. And then,
Yes.
to me, Jimi Hendrix all along the Watchtower. I mean, I made that Zack Snyder's theme song in Snyder Cut Fighters. I couldn't use it though because
Awesome.
of copyrights. But
Oh,
I feel that's Zack's tone, you know,
yeah,
when he's
it's
going full
amazing.
out.
It's so good, man.
Uh,
I love Jimi Hendrix as well.
mm,
When I was younger, it was like, there's like a few people: James Brown, Jimi Hendrix, Johnny Cash, Bruce Springsteen. That was me, just over and over and over and over. Loved it.
eh.
So, but yeah, it's just,
I grew up a Fleetwood Mac, Bee Gees, Michael
all right.
Jackson, and Bruce Springsteen guy. Kid.
Yeah, well, I love all them as well. Yeah, I love all of them. I used to practice all the Michael Jackson dance moves in the mirror like everyone else, I
Oh,
think. So,
I definitely did. I still do now.
yeah, well, I remember well, I remember this. I must have been, but I was young, maybe 5 or 8 years old or something. And I remember my dad calling me down, and it was like, in the UK we get the news at 10, right? And that
Hmm.
was like, there was always, everybody would watch news at 10 to tell you all the news. at 10 o'clock at night, and I remember being upstairs and getting ready for bed, and my dad called me and my brother. He's like, right, come on downstairs, right, sit down, watch this. And I'm like, why are we sitting up watching news at 10? And at the end of news at 10, there was always a wee bit that we'd go, and finally, and they would have something that was a wee bit more light-hearted or whatever. And it was like, came up, and finally, and it was Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk for the first time. And my dad's like, watch this. And we were just sitting like that.
Oh, man.
So that was just wild, you know what I mean? But the fact that that was on the news, that Michael Jackson made a new dance move. Well, copied a new dance move, whatever, but it was really...
He brought it to
really cool.
the public. It's been on the streets for a while, but yeah.
Yeah, aye. But it was so cool. But I used to love Michael Jackson as well, and I like Fleetwood Mac, brilliant. Yeah. Who else do you say? Jimi Hendrix and...
No, I was Fleetwood Mac, Bee Gees.
Bee Gees, yeah.
Michael Jackson, well. Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, man, good taste. I like them all.
Well, that was the first taste I had. Well, yeah. What I liked about Michael Jackson's music videos, and even his music, he took care to... he took time to make a quality piece and even go full out with the videos. Like, hey, we're doing a video. We can actually be more creative and give the audience something more. And I think I've always been drawn to that. And then, because around that time was also Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back was the first Star Wars film I ever saw. Right, and then Return Jedi. I never even saw the first one until in the 90s. Right. And I felt like film should like invest in giving you the best.
Right.
And, you know, that's one thing I like about Zack Snyder. He doesn't take cheap corners, you know?
Yeah. Well, see, I remember again, like, kids today won't, I know I sound so old saying this, but kids today won't realise like the impact of stuff like Michael Jackson videos that came out. Because like, I remember being at school and it was like Michael Jackson's Black or White video was going to come out, right? And everybody, and I mean like everybody, the next day went into school were like, the first thing out of everybody's lips, did you see Michael Jackson's video? Did you see Michael Jackson's video? When their heads turned and they changed into different people and stuff. I remember everybody was talking about that. Like, I mean, everybody. There was not one kid in the playground that wasn't talking about that first thing that next morning. And it was like, everybody was like, the whole playground was dancing. That's how wild it was. It was wild. You know what I mean? It's like,
that's great. I love it.
It really changed. It changed so much about culture, and it was like you look at Thriller, like there was never any music videos like that before Thriller. That was like a game changer. That was like a mini movie. I remember like when he was actually sitting in the girl's house and he's talking, he's like, "You want to watch a movie?" And then like he's like turned into the werewolf, you know. It's like everybody nowadays just tries to be really cool in videos, and to me it's pretty boring. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I've seen it, you know, but there was some cool stuff in those videos, and all his videos like that, like the Remember the Times videos. And,
I was about to go there. That's one of my favorites.
So good.
Because
he spins and turns into sand, and
yeah, my favorite basketball player of all time is Magic Johnson. Awesome. And to see him in that was great. And Eddie Murphy was fantastic.
Yeah, that's right.
Iman was great. That's Dave Bowie's wife. She was fantastic too. And I just love because even that breakdown, because in the song you don't get the breakdown. That one was like, what about, you know? And then he's got that dance sequence where everyone's like, and then they have the song slowly come back, and then by the time it's done, it's like boom. I was like, I love that. I think that's one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs too.
Oh, it's brilliant. But
he has another one. It's not that popular. It's from the same album called In the Closet.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Oh, I love that one. Oh, man. I fell in love with women all over again with that. I forgot the model, but she was gorgeous. And I was like, that's my type. I knew. I was going through puberty too, so I was like, hey.
Was it Naomi Campbell? No?
I think it was Naomi Campbell.
I think it might have been.
It wasn't Iman. Yes, it was Naomi. I have to look it up. But yeah, I'm not an encyclopedia all the time. But that was great because it's so weird. Because there's this shot. It was like Tasteful Sexy, where she was turning around
Mm-hmm.
and her knees. It was just a shot on her knees, and then she
Right.
had this like white rope, like an anklet around her ankle. For some reason, I was like,
Right.
I got into anklets. I was like, hey, if a girl has an anklet, I'm like, oh, girl, what you doing to me? Yeah, it does something to me. It's like someone has a sweater thing, you know. So I don't know.
Okay.
It's weird.
That's
The
brilliant.
avenues we go in this conversation.
I know. And one last one. Do you remember Liberian Girl?
Liberian girl. No, I
Girl.
actually never
Yeah.
saw the video. I just remember the song. And
Check out
then
the video.
Tupac used that beat for
The,
one of his songs too later.
that's right. Yeah. Well,
Dung,
the
dung,
video for
dung,
that
cling,
was like
dung, dung, dung.
basically. The video for that was basically anyone that was famous in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. It was like
It's
a
just
highlight reel of everyone
constant,
who was popular.
constant cameos. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, that
Really
was
cool.
neat. That was neat. I actually saw
Yeah.
that later on. I didn't see that when it
Mhm.
came out.
Yeah.
But I like Europe because Europe has the best love for Michael Jackson I've seen in any country, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Actually, even Korea and especially India, they idolize Michael Jackson a lot, and
Really? Wow.
it's cool. Like, there's a lot of nods to Michael Jackson style in K-pop. It's like his influence has like changed, just like Zack
Yeah.
Snyder's thing, you know. And I think that's the beauty of like art. Uncompromised, you know, non-compromised art. I think it just touches so many people on different levels, and if it doesn't, there's something else for someone, you know.
Exactly.
But it's good to have that quality, you know.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
And it's rare, even like because I'm a big Jim Henson's fan. I could see all the art stuff that influences each other, because Jim Henson, he worked with Ninja Turtles, you know, the first Ninja is Jim Henson Company,
that's
and
right.
the stunt guy who did the stunts for Leonardo, I think in all three films. His name is Larry Lamb. I think he's a Taekwondo expert. But he you see him in Watchmen in the jail sequence. He's the Asian brother with the long straight hair. That guy is the stunt guy for Leonardo in the first Ninja Turtles movie. So it's like
cool.
the carryovers, man. It's like it's like so cool. There's all these little footprints of films that I like that are connected to each other. And I think Zack Snyder posted like top 10, top 20 films, and Conan the Barbarian was one of them. I was like, hey, I get you, Zach.
Hey, you want? I'll tell you something that a lot of people probably didn't pick up on the 20 film movie challenge.
Yeah, what's that?
I think every single one of them had a director's cut or extended cut.
That's true. Conan the Barbarian. Did Excalibur have a director's cut?
I'm not sure, but what happened was, see, at the time, I went through them and I looked and I was like, because you know Zack doesn't just post things. There's a meaning behind it. And when he posted that, I looked through and I started researching all these movies that he was putting up. Because like he didn't put up the names of them, he just put up one thing.
Yeah, I think the challenge is just to put up a picture.
Yep. And then what happened was I started looking into them and I was finding like this one was it was an extended cut, came out 2 years later, and it was a much better version of the movie, blah blah blah, you know, and it was like literally all of them, and there was some of them had 3-4 cuts and stuff, and I was like, man, he's trying to say, look, all these have been extended cuts, you know. And was the top one, was it Blade Runner?
I think so. I think Blade Runner has like 4 or 5. Conan Barbarian has 3 that I counted.
Because he put in a unicorn bit or something. I can't remember. There was a unicorn bit. I can't remember. My memory's not right just now. I don't know. I think it was like for the clip of Blade Runner, but it was like from an extended cut. It wasn't from the original cut, you know. And so yeah, all his movies were from
director's
cuts. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, Conan the Barbarian on Blu-ray. That's the 3rd cut of the film, and I think that's a definitive one. It's really good.
Okay.
Because they have a scene where Conan talks to Subutai before they fight Thulsa Doom by the beach. And he's questioning him like, man, all my life has led to this. What's the point of it, you know? And he's like, yo, Subutai, you could leave. You don't have to be here. He's like, no, he'll just haunt me, and then I come here again one day.
Yeah.
I'm staying with you, bro. It's like, man. It's like, I love that film so much.
That's cool,
It's so good. I could dissect that film, but
I haven't seen that in so long.
ooh.
It's been so long. I'd need to get a rewatch. This is my problem, right? Is there's so many movies I'm like, well, either ones that I've not seen or I haven't seen for a long time, and I'm like, I might watch that movie, but then I think, is it going to be better than watching BVS? I could watch BVS again, and I end up watching BVS. I do that all the time.
I think that's okay, because I feel right now I'm speaking for myself, and I think a lot of people feel this too. I feel like because I feel like I learn from the films that I love. You know, it's not just I'm entertaining myself, because I too worked in the film industry for a bit. I didn't get where I wanted. I've gotten a lot of dead ends and debt. So for a while, I beat myself up, and I felt like I failed. So when I felt like one of the things of fighting for Zack's film was like, I felt like, all right, it's a tough business, and there's a lot of assholes in it. And I figure if I could do some good, I could help someone else who's in where I wanted to be. Get justice done, and then at least maybe I vicariously could feel like I did my part for the film industry, you know, the art of film, the history of art film, you know. And there's other reasons why I went for Snyder Cut so hard, but that's a main one, because I think
that is cool.
Yeah, these films are important, man. I forgot my train of thought where I was going with that, but yeah.
But do you know, the crazy thing is, like, what we actually did it. We made history with this.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
Did. Do you know? Okay, go.
Okay,
go,
I remembered it. Yeah, we
cool.
did do history, and I think with his films, since we were robbed of what we were supposed to get, vision-wise, feeling-wise, I feel like I'm on pause, like something's incomplete, and I can't move on until I finish this part. It's like it's almost like finishing school, you know?
Yeah.
I need to do those last classes and then get my diploma or something, you know? I feel like
unfinished business, isn't it?
Yeah, unfinished business. So when we get this film back, you know, when it comes home, I feel like now I'm done with this story. Not done, but now I understand in the whole arc. So then I'm like, because Man of Steel did so much for me. BVS did a lot for me. And the next part of this epic trilogy, I'm looking forward to what this will do for me too. So I can go on and carry on with my goals of getting back into the industry from the indie scene. It's just like, like Flashpoint Paradox, when someone went back in time and then the future's fucked up. I feel like someone went back in time and ruined something, and then the future's messed up, so we're trying to go back and fix the timeline.
That's so. There's so many things that mirror the stories of Zack's movies and stuff to me. Like, and that's one of them. It's like it's as if Barry's went back and restored the timeline. We're getting what we were meant to get, the real version, you know. So that's really cool for me. And as I said earlier before, like the 300, you know what I mean? It was like at the start there was a little army, and we're going up against the big army, the Persian army coming at us, you know. I feel like that, like all these wee things, there's so many parallels to the movement and the movies. It's weird. It's strange how it's happened. I don't know how, but it's worked out that way, and it's a bit crazy to me.
Yeah. Trilogies are important. I think a lot of revelations happen in trilogies. It's a classic tale, you know? Just like in life, first trilogy, we're children. Second trilogy, we're young adults turning into adults. The third part of the trilogy, we are an adult, and then we're taking care of children, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And even Dante's Inferno, going through hell, the third one, he goes to heaven. Even Lord of the Rings, right? There's like Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and then Return of the King, right? Fellowship is, embracing, coming together for a cause to do something good. Man of Steel, I think he was embracing himself, the two worlds, to do something good. And then you got Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, BVS. You got these two towers, Batman and Superman, going at each other. And then in Return of the King, everyone's coming together to defeat an evil, but they also need like some leader or some symbol, like Aragorn was Return of the King. He has yet to rise. Superman is that Return of the King. So it's like the classic trilogy and how it mirrors each other. It's just so beautiful that we're going to get it the right way.
Yeah. I look forward to it so much.
Man.
The only thing is, we still haven't heard in the UK how we're going to see it. So.
Now,
but
you had an idea about that, didn't you? Didn't you have an idea how to help from your end?
Yeah.
With subscribers?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
What is
my
it?
idea? Okay. My idea was for everybody that's not in the UK.
You mean not in the US?
Yeah, sorry, I'm losing it. I'm not with it today. I'm sorry. It was for my idea was for everybody that's not in an HBO Max region to take out a subscription for somebody that is in an HBO Max region and gift it to them. You know, so basically they give away a subscription, and one, you're doing a nice thing to help somebody, and two, then the HBO subscribers go up. If the HBO subscribers go up, then it means there's more chance of restoring the Snyderverse and getting more content that we want. So that was pretty much my idea. I seen Alina V on Twitter and Vero. She'd put up a thing doing pretty much the same idea. And it was just like donate money and they'll hand them out to people. And I was like, yeah, that works, man. So go do it, you know. I think that'd be a great idea to get. I'm working on a kind of plan to try and put everything together. I've got a few wee ideas that I'm trying to build perfectly, and then if I can figure it all out, maybe I'll put out a video or something and try and get a big push and try and get people to help us, you know. Might try and do that. So
there's one thing I already started doing on my end where one of my a few family members and my brother, I'm gifting them was it a gift card, like those Visa gift cards?
Yeah.
And where you could use anywhere. So the idea is I'm gonna give them a gift card, and they're gonna use it to where the HBO Max subscription will, be off that gift card. So let's say it's $50 or whatever,
right?
And it'll run out some time, but it won't be on their money, and it won't be on mine, but it'll be for a certain time just to help the film.
That's really cool. Yeah, so, I didn't even know you could get one of those.
Yeah, so
but that sounds really cool
because they could work for a subscription because it works like a regular card. Credit card is just like whatever. So I'm getting some subscribers on, and my family's been great too because there's like there's like 50 of us here, right? And there's more in Sri Lanka and all that, but every single event, and I told my family, and a lot of them, not all of them have done everything, but a lot of them have done a lot. They've all, anonymously donated to everything, So that's me. I usually get like if it's a shirt, I get like 3, and then my family gets like 2, and then my cousin, he got like 5 shirts one day.
Wow.
Just to support, really, and then he donated more. I was like, whoa, dang. So I'm happy my family got into it, and I think if we spread the mess, it'll speak for itself. We just got to get it out there, because it's weird that well, it's not weird. I have a lot of theories on why WB is not supporting it, because they're not invested in it,
Yeah,
it feels like it's an independent film coming out through them. And like any independent film, they're like, all right, we'll put it out, but you take care of all the marketing or whatever.
Do you know what's absolutely crazy to me is the fact that Warner Brothers, they're not only not supporting it, right? But to me, it's as if they're actively not supporting it. They're against it rather than.
It feels very spiteful.
It does, and it's sickening because do you know the fact that, say, Hamada and Emmerich, if it's them, all the indications are it's them that doesn't want this to happen, with what Hamada said about Snyder Cut's a cul-de-sac and everything. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So when you look at what they're doing, right, I'm like, they're saying this isn't going to be a success, right? I would love nothing more than this to be a success, just to prove them wrong. And I think if this is a real success, a huge success, surely AT&T, Warner Media, whatever, whoever's above them must look at them and go, wait a minute, you've had this movie for what, 3 years, and you refused to release it, even though there was such an outpouring from the fans over and over. Look at the amount of money it's just made us. There was also Joker. You just gave away the rights to Joker, but and look at that. You go, like, listen to this. You say, we're going to make a Joker movie, right? That alone, you should be like, ooh. It doesn't matter who's going to play Joker. You go, whoa, exciting. You go, Joaquin Phoenix is going to play Joker, and you go, whoa, the guy's a master actor, brilliant. And also, we're going to have Robert De Niro in it. You're like, what?
Right?
How could you say, I don't get it? You're like, what don't you get? It's going to be a huge hit. I said this like way back, because I remember at the start I was saying it was going to be Leonardo DiCaprio. I was talking about him for the role, and even then I was like, this is going to be a huge hit, just because the standard of the actors and the character, you can't. It's a home run. You can't miss with that. You just can't miss. And then they're not seeing how it can work, and I'm like, the people at AT&T and Warner Media must look at this and go, right, okay, they messed up with Joker, right? They really messed up the Snyder Cut. Why are these people in power? We need to get rid of these people. That's the way I look at it, and it's like they can't make blunder after blunder after blunder over and over again and keep on top. And do you know what my hope and wish for this is? See what I was saying about the subscribers? I want it to go into like an overdrive, like to such a huge extent that they get like inundated with subscribers. They get more than they ever dreamed of on the day that the Snyder Cut comes out. And you imagine that happens, right? Now, think about this. What happens to Ray Fisher? Ray Fisher was the heart of the movie, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to be one of the biggest movie stars in the world as soon as that comes out, right? And Hamada said, you're not going to be in The Flash, right?
I think after the film comes out, he's going to be. Because they're filming in April, so maybe...
Well, this is the thing. If the Snyder Cut is such a huge hit, I would love for them to have to beg him, say, look, we made a boo-boo here, we really want you back in. And you imagine that. That's how, if we get enough subscribers, something like that could happen. Get Hamada out, get Emmerich out, Ray Fisher. The thing is, this is what breaks my heart, is Ray Fisher and Ray Porter. They should be household names right now. They should be...
Yeah.
They get absolutely killed in this. 3 years of their lives, they should be living the Hollywood megastar lifestyle right now. They should, and they were denied that. Whether they want that or whatever, they seem so down to earth and kind and nice. I know they don't feel as if they're missing out, but I feel like they deserve a lot more than they got.
Yeah.
So, that's
especially a lot of stunt people in background. Even the actress for Iris.
Yeah.
She's fantastic in other work.
There's another one. Yeah, and also is it Karen Bryson? Victor Stone's mum in the Justice League. She was in it. She get whitewashed out. Yeah. There's another thing. The whole thing was whitewashed, and I'm like, Warner Brothers still supporting Emmerich and Hamada, and they've said, oh, Jeff Johns. Well, they didn't even say Jeff Johns. According to Ray Fisher, they said that just leave Jeff Johns for some, I don't know why, mental. But it's a really messed up situation. But I'm telling you, man, if we get enough HBO subscribers, then hopefully we can eradicate it all and win.
We need to
Because if
show
we
them
get enough
numbers too. Got
subscribers,
played a lot, which is not
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
hard for me.
no,
Or
well,
you.
I'm the same. Yeah, I'll be playing it non-stop. I'm playing it, and thing is, I'm not. People, I've heard people say, even if I'm doing other things, I'll just play it in the background. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, I'll be and like doing other things like watching it. You know what I mean? Doing other things at the same time. You know, I'm not. It won't be on the background. It'll be on, and I'll be. Other things will be in the background for me. You know what I mean?
Yo, I love the
So
sound of films too. Like sometimes,
yeah.
you know how you can stream a film
Mhm.
on your device? When I'm
Yep.
driving, I
Uh huh.
just stream it and I listen to it. I don't even watch it, and I play it
Yeah.
in my mind, the visions. But I drive
Yep.
safely, and
Yep.
it's just and 300 is great because if you listen to that, just the audio alone, the music, the sound effects, and the narration every now and then, it sounds like
Aye.
an audible book in a way.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
whenever there's
I've
like
never done that.
you should try it. It's really cool.
I will.
Because
I will.
as a kid, I was like 15. I loved Mortal Kombat.
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat
Yep.
was like a He-Man remake of Enter the
Mhm.
Dragon, or Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon,
Yeah.
right? You look at
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat and Enter the Dragon, they're the
Yep.
same. Three
Yeah.
warriors going to an island, competing in a tournament that has world catastrophic
Mhm.
repercussions if gone wrong.
Yep. Uh-huh.
You know, it's like
What's not like to like?
Liu Kang, Bruce
Yeah.
Lee, it's right there.
Mhm.
And then you got the brat Johnny Cage, John Saxon's character, and then you got the
Mhm.
tough other character, Sonya Blade and Jim Kelly. It's like
Mhm.
perfect, you know.
Yeah.
So and then just how they
Awesome.
made the film, and also the choreographer of Mortal Kombat,
Mhm.
minus two fight scenes. That was all done by the actor Liu Kang, Robin Shu.
Right.
Um, the guy who did the fight scenes is
Mhm.
actually Pat Johnson, who worked with Bruce Lee and is in Enter the Dragon as one of
Wow.
the guys who's going to take out John Saxon's character at the golf course.
Wow. That's
So
really
there's
cool.
more connection that Mortal Kombat has to Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon.
Nice.
It's like art, quality art inspires other, and I love that film. And why did I bring up
Mhm.
Mortal? Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat. I watched the special features of that, and that got
Mhm.
me wanting to be in film because I was like, wow, they could do this. I want to do this too.
Uh
But
huh.
also, that film, I really want to dissect it. So I actually
Mhm.
recorded everything on a tape recorder. Remember the
Right.
little tape
Yeah.
recorders
Yeah.
with
Yeah. Mhm.
the 90-minute tape thing, and then you had to rewind? I just had to
Yeah.
stop the movie, flip the cassette, and then record it,
Yeah.
holding it to the. Actually, I laid the recorder by the TV. So
Right.
then I had my Walkman. So when
Mhm.
we go on family trips and I want to watch the movie, I couldn't watch it. So I
But you
listened
could
to the whole
listen.
movie
Wow.
and I pictured it while I was listening to it. And then at one
That's
point, I could
cool.
recite the whole film from beginning to end. That was like my
That's really
jam.
awesome.
And then as a filmmaker, I liked sound of films. Like when you
Mhm.
see, like, and I noticed Zack's films have good sound. And then I found out later
Mhm.
that he loves sound design.
Yeah. Uh huh.
So again, BVS, my favorite sound design scene
Mhm.
is when Clark Kent goes to see Lois Lane at their apartment and
Right.
she's in the
Okay. Yeah.
tub.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
love that because when I saw it in the theater,
Mhm.
her window was open and you could hear
Uh
the
huh.
cars going by. You could tell that
Mhm.
they're in the inner city. You could see that they have an expensive apartment, but it's
Uh
also
huh.
in a place that's kind of like, rugged, but not,
Mhm.
it didn't seem dangerous, but it's Superman,
Yeah.
nothing's dangerous when
Mhm.
I guess you're dating
Yeah.
Superman, right? And you could tell by the sound of it, it felt like, okay, their floor is wood for some reason. I just felt like the floor is wood,
Yep.
just like you
Mhm.
got that texture of echo, and it's
Yeah.
great. And then the problem with Justice League is that it's so mechanical
Uh huh.
and it
Yeah.
feels like forced emotion, and it's not even.
There's no care. There's no
There's no
care behind
feeling.
it.
There's no because it's
Yeah.
it's it's like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste on
Mhm.
stuff and stuff to cover up something that they don't want.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
just
like
so weird, and I just love the attention to detail, the sound.
yeah.
Every single thing is important, and you should try listening to some movies. Just
I
listen to
will.
audio, because then I play in the background while I'm doing stuff too. It's
Mhm.
great.
Like what you're saying there, like you're saying about how like, there's no substance to it, and it's like what Ray Fisher's been saying about the booyah comment and stuff, it's like a lot of comment fans are like, he didn't say booyah, you know, and I'm like, yeah, but look at all the
Does Superman say
that
"Great
they are putting in.
Scott"?
Yeah, exactly.
Great Scott,
But,
you're my cousin,
yeah,
Kara.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like you don't have it, they're looking for very very superficial stuff, you know, and they're neglecting all this stuff that you're talking about, what the feeling and the way the sound makes you feel and the emotions all these things bring out and the feeling of being there with them, you know. They're neglecting all that for like, where's his word, where's his catchphrase, you know. And I'm like, man, these are focusing on one thing that's not that big a deal and missing out everything else. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
you know, it's like a finger pointing away to the moon. You know what I
hey,
mean?
yeah, it is. That
but
is
Bruce
so
Lee,
true right there,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. So
Ah, so true.
just it's Bruce Lee 101, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what
Oh
it is.
man. I like
So,
that films have their own philosophy. Even like Bruce Lee,
yeah,
yeah, man.
as that I see when I read Bruce Lee's philosophy when I was young, I was like, I was I think like I'd seen a couple of like Bruce Lee movies and stuff, and I wasn't that bothered when I was young, you know, because I was a bit too young to understand, appreciate and stuff. And I was like, yeah, action movie, whatever. And then one of my friends was like, we've got to watch Enter the Dragon because he'd got, you know, the nunchuck scene in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that in the in the UK that was banned for years, right? They took that part out, and
What?
yeah,
Why?
and it was too violent. But I think what
Just the
happened was when
nunchuck or that whole fight scene?
the whole fight scene with the nunchucks,
Oh,
everything with the
fighting all the
nunchucks was
guards
taken.
or just the
Yeah,
nunchuck part?
it was the whole fighting with the guards, but all of it.
Wow.
And what happened? I think what happened was in the 70s. I might be wrong, but I remember hearing that people started buying nunchucks and were injuring other people and themselves with it.
Oh man.
And when that happened in the UK, they cut the movie and took that bit out so that they wouldn't get all the injuries and stuff, which is so crazy.
I
But
know like
but
Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2 is banned in France
uh-huh.
because it has way too much blood.
Man, our whole bodies are made up of blood.
Tomb Raider 2 is still
That's
banned in
crazy.
China.
Wow, that's wild.
Hmm.
But that bit that was cut out, I remember one of my friends is like, my uncle gave me a copy. It was an old VHS copy. He's like, it's Bruce Lee and it's uncut. The whole nunchuck scenes in it, and I was like, what? I was like, right, let's watch it. And we watched it, and I was like, this is awesome. And then at the end of it, it came on that the wee documentary Bruce Lee in his own words,
Hmm.
and when I seen that, that was just like, what just my mind was like, you know, all this information coming into my head, and I was like, you know, in the Matrix, he's like, I need to know more, you know. It was like
Right.
that, and I was like, I need to know more about this man, and I end up, I've up my mum and dad's house, like I've got a bookshelf just full of Bruce Lee books. I've got
Hey,
I had every video, every movie, everything
me too,
about Bruce
bro.
Lee, and I was obsessed with him, and I'm still like like the amount of things he did and stuff that people don't realize, and they think like Bruce Lee, and they go, you talk about Bruce Lee, and they'll be like, what? And you're like, oh, no. Again, you're focusing on Booyah here. You know, you're missing out this whole. This guy was a bona fide genius in every
Mm.
respect, and it was like when you look at the physical shape he got himself into, is incredible, and like you, I told people, like, you know, I remember reading, see, you know, these late night adverts you see, like the infomercials, and it's like you put pads in your stomach and it sends electrodes through and they just
Yeah,
pulse,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and it stimulates the muscles. Bruce Lee invented that. He came up with that. He realized that if you put an electrode through your muscle, it will stimulate it and make it work and grow,
But not
and
just that. not
he
just that,
got
because
that
the
prototype
stimulation makes
built.
you contract the muscles. But what Bruce Lee
Yes.
did, he would like do a punch while his muscles are contracting at the same time. He would move
Yes.
because motion builds the muscles. You can contract as much and you'll get some effect, but it's not a lasting one. So he'd be doing sit-ups or whatever while it's going G. That's
Yes.
like, dang. Some
I
people
know.
just sit there just going, oh, I can't handle it.
Yeah,
But he, oh man.
But he actually invented that and got a prototype built for him. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like stuff like that. People don't know all these things, and
And also the
like
mixed martial arts that he came up with.
well, exactly. Look at Enter the Dragon. He has the first MMA fight with Samoan. You look at the way they fight. He's
Right?
got MMA
How they're
gloves on.
padded up.
Yeah, they've got the MMA gloves on. They've got shin guards. They do like they come in and they do like striking, then into clinching, into like, throwing, then they go to the ground, and then he finishes them with submission.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
And
I'm
here's the
like,
thing: people don't know about Bruce Lee. In real life, he fought differently than the movies. Movies
yes,
are show, right?
mm-hmm.
It's dramatized and glamorized for dramatic effect, and that's just the style,
Yeah,
you know. But he
yeah,
was actually really a grappler,
yeah.
and you know that you have the book Tao Jeet Kune Do. I know you have that one.
Yes, I've got
You've
more than
seen
one
it.
copy
All
of
the
that.
grapples, man. All
Yeah.
that's UFC 101 right there.
Well, let me tell you something, right? See,
Yeah, yeah.
if you look in that Bruce Lee's notes of him drawing stuff, right? Right. Now, and bear in mind, right? When did Bruce Lee die? 1973,
73.
was it? 73, right? Okay.
He was
The
32.
the first UFC was 1993, right? So it was 30 years before UFC started, right? And UFC has evolved in the past 20 odd years to a point where everybody's fluid and everything, you know? Bruce Lee was saying that back then, right? And
No one
the,
else was. There's some
nobody
wrestlers
else was saying,
who claim they did,
yeah,
but Bruce Lee really
but
combined the strikes and everything that
yep,
very.
he
Oh,
did
carry
every
on.
range.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. But what I was saying was, you look at when you see him in Enter the Dragon stuff, and he does all the combining of everything, right? Now, in his notes, right, this is how advanced this is, right? Now, I do jiu-jitsu. I've done Brazilian jiu-jitsu, 10th Planet jiu-jitsu and everything, and I don't know if you know 10th Planet jiu-jitsu at all, right? It's like Eddie
Not
Bravo's
familiar.
style. Right, okay. Well, it's very very complex jiu-jitsu style, and one of the main moves is a twister, right? And the twister is like, to teach a twister, you got to understand what you're doing. You know, it's like a spine lock, and if you ask a lot of regular Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys how to do a twister, a lot of them would struggle. The higher grades will probably be fine, but a lot of the lower grades would really struggle to even explain what a twister is. Now, there's been 2 twister finishes in the UFC now, right? One was a couple of years ago, the guy, the Korean Zombie, he managed to get a twister, and then there was another one recently, Bryce Mitchell got a twister finish as well, okay? In the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, there's drawings of Bruce Lee, and he's drawn how to do twisters. And I'm like, what? That was like, I don't know, 50 years ago or
No,
something?
because he wrote that
Whatever.
in the 60s. That came out after his death. His wife put it together,
Oh, yeah.
and it came out later. So it was actually developed around the 60s.
Yeah, so
So
that's
it's
when he
earlier.
was focusing on these type of moves. And I'm like, he was so far ahead of his time. It's mind blowing how far ahead he was. He was just an exceptional human. Exceptional
Artist and philosopher.
and do you know as well, sorry, just quickly,
Yeah.
not only in the martial arts sense, not only in the fitness sense, but as a human, he was like the first guy to go, I'll teach anyone. He came out and he's like, I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. if you're a good guy, I'll teach you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, again,
Good guy
back
and
then that
girl.
wasn't
He
accepted.
taught women
Yeah,
too.
yeah, exactly. He didn't care. And that's the thing, it was like, that was way back then, you know? And at that time, that was not acceptable. In
Yeah,
a
because
lot of
Chinese
places, that
kung fu
was,
was only for the Chinese community.
yeah, exactly. And, but like, look at the barriers that guy broke. It's exceptional.
It's crazy because
Just,
the kung fu school I
mhm.
grew up in,
Yep.
um, uh, are the founder of it.
Hmm.
He was training a kid who was
Yeah.
our school headmaster, and
Hmm.
he said, "All right, I'm going to teach you some things, but I have to tell you, if you're going to tell anyone else, I'm teaching you karate.
Hmm.
But I'm actually going to teach you kung fu because if it
Right.
comes out, I'm going to be in huge trouble with the Chinese community."
Right.
Then Bruce Lee broke that rule, and it
Hmm.
was open. And then then he's like, "All right, well, Bruce Lee changed it, so I'm going to start a school." And then my kung fu school was started right after Bruce Lee broke that
Wow.
rule. And
That's amazing. Well, that
yeah,
shows the history. He changed
yeah,
history.
and it's great because uh, his name is Ted Lai, the guy who
Right. Okay.
started our kung fu school, the one I was in, Calcia
Okay.
Fortune.
Hmm.
He started the school, and I think he was also inspired by Bruce Lee because we were taught traditional Chole Kung Fu and
Hmm.
Hungar Kung Fu.
Right.
And
Cool.
we would have the traditional classes. And
Hmm.
then at the end of class, we had a bonus class, and it was open to everyone, but it was full contact sparring.
Right.
It was a different one. And we would get guest teachers
Hmm.
from jujitsu, kickboxing, all kinds of things, right? Even
That's
wrestling,
cool.
right?
Hmm.
And we would have a class where we go at each other, and I was afraid to do it
Hmm.
for like the longest time. Then when I was older, I was like 18. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do the sparring classes, right?
Yeah.
And then it was very inspiring because the first sparring class I did,
Hmm.
my teacher was teaching us to do jabs, and it was the headmaster giving me my first sparring lesson, right?
Hmm.
And usually, in class, it's kind of safe because you're learning. It's
Yeah.
all theory based.
Hmm.
People got to remember it's all theory based. They would do, all right, here's a punch. And then you have your time to go, okay, I'm going to do
Yeah.
this, ha. And then
Uh-huh.
you practice that, just get in your rhythm. And he's like, all right, I'm going to throw a jab. And he threw a jab, and
Hmm.
he purposely didn't, he put it like this far from my face. And then I blocked it,
Right.
but I blocked it softly like I would there. And then he stopped.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm going to throw a real jab. I was like, okay, whatever. Then he clocked me in the face. His hands is padded, but
Yeah.
it's not like a boxing glove that's padded. I
No.
remember the
Yeah.
pressure hit me up. I saw stars. And
Oh.
then as soon as he hit me, I realized that was a real punch. And before I
Hmm.
could react, like saying, teacher, what the hell? Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up with my light? Hold on. Doo, doo, doo. I think my dog. Oh, it is my dog. Why are you in the way, buddy?
Have you got a dog?
This is my
Oh.
aroma. Yeah, it's my mom's dog. We're taking care of him for now.
Oh, sweet.
We're training him. Okay, so as soon as I
Hmm.
was going to react, the next fist was coming,
Hmm.
and something sparked, and I was like, I do not want this fist to hit me again.
No.
Then I blocked it, a perfect block.
Hmm.
Then before I realized, I was starting to realize what I did. Before I could realize another one, another fist came, and then I blocked it again. And then after that, the second block,
Hmm.
I I was not thinking at all. I was just reacting, and I was focused.
Yep.
And then he looked at me. He's like, "There it is.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
fighting." And then I
That's
understood.
cool.
And then I did
Hmm.
I didn't compete. I just competed in my
Yep.
own school. But I did
Yep.
compete competitive like sparring for like 3 years.
Hmm.
It's
That's cool,
crazy.
man. It's
Now,
like again,
yeah,
again,
go on.
like Bruce Lee. That's what he
Hmm.
says. It's like when you're fighting, he says it's like obviously don't think, feel, you know.
Yeah.
And I always like he says you don't walk into a room and think where is the light switch? I'll put the light switch on with my finger. He's like you just walk in, bump, and it does it all by itself.
Mm.
He says it's the same thing. He's like when you start fighting, it should just happen, you know. And that was your story, basically the exact same thing,
But
isn't
I
it?
had to be
So
focused too and be in the
yeah,
moment and aware of
uh
what's
huh,
going on. Because
yep,
there's also
mhm,
a guru, I think it's Osha, who said it. He says something
mhm,
like, if you do things subconsciously, or no, he said habits are bad. I think it was Osho who said that. Anyways, anything that you do habitually, you're doing things automatically without thinking, without being aware. Now, I'm not saying plan everything, but you just got to be mindful of everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
This is why when we're doing something habitual, we're not paying attention. We drop our keys, or we do something silly, or stub our foot, you know, on a door that we walk through all the time. You know, it's like so. I think being aware, like focusing on the moon, not the finger, but also letting nature take its course. It's like that perfect balance that you have to find of focus and being natural and being real. It's so deep. Now that we're on martial arts, by the way,
yes,
how did you get into martial arts and why?
Right. Well, I started off when I was very young. I was always wanting to do martial arts, and I think from the first time I ever saw martial arts, I think I wanted to just take part and start trying it, you know. And I used to watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was very young at the time, but that was like one of the things that inspired me. I was like, I want to be like that. And I remember being at school, and it was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I told them I wanted to be a turtle, and they all thought I was mental, you know, because I was like, I meant like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but everybody just thought I meant a turtle, and they were like, this kid's crazy, you know. But I was just being like, I want to be able to fight like that, you know, use the weapons, all that kind of stuff. And then as I got older, I started seeing like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, and that I was like, oh, like Bloodsport. Bloodsport was just like,
Bloodsport's great.
So good.
That's
man.
a great film still.
I loved it. That and Kickboxer 2 and AWOL and stuff like that. And then from I think about age 11, I'd been begging my dad to take me to martial arts, like any martial art class. Like, take me to anything. I was like, I want to go to karate, kung fu, you name it. And then my dad was always like, he's too small. I don't want him getting hurt, and it won't be what he thinks it is. He's going to get really badly hurt, and he was always avoiding taking me because he was worried for me. He didn't want me to get hurt. And one of my brother's friends was going to a taekwondo class, and he said he told me about it, and I was like, what? He's going to it, and I was like, oh. And then my dad spoke to him about it, and he's like, how is it, and what happens? And I was like, can I go, Dad? Can I go? My dad's like, right, okay, we'll take you. My dad told me after, he said he was expecting to take me there, and then me just to go, no, it's not for me, and come home. And he picked me up, and he was like, so how was it? And I was like, I want to go again. And that was me. I was obsessed, you know, and that was me. So I started off doing taekwondo at age 11. I was going twice a week for, I think it was maybe, I can't remember if it was an hour and a half or 2 hours at a time or something. And then as I got older, I started adding in. I remember thinking like my brother started doing judo, and he was like, do you know what it's like? It's like, because obviously I grew up watching lots of WWF wrestling and stuff, as you know, and my brother was like, it's just like wrestling, but you're on the ground and stuff. Like, there's mats, and it's like, it's not like we used to wrestle each other, like pretend play dummy wrestling, you know, in our parents' living room, you know what I mean? But it's like a regular floor and stuff, and we're falling on the floor, and you know. But he's like, there's mats, you don't even get hurt, and you learn how to throw people. And I was like, right, okay. So I went and did that, and I was like, oh wow. And I was like, so if I'm fighting stand up, I can do taekwondo. If I go to the ground, I can do judo. I'm sorted in it. And then when I did judo for a couple of years, and I was quite a natural at it. Picked up really fast. Same with the taekwondo, I picked it up pretty fast as well. And then I went to, I don't know if you know this, but in Scotland we get the Highland Games, right? And they do stuff like all these Scottish events, and one of them is wrestling. And what they do is like, you compete for money and stuff at these things. And I'd never wrestled before, and I was like, wow, I want to do that. And I went up to the guy that was running it, and I said, look, can I join in and take part? And he's like, no, son, you need to go to a wrestling club to take part. You can't just walk in off the street and just try and do this. But one of the guys that was was at college with me, and he's like, oh no, Robert does judo, he's alright, let him do it. And he's like, okay. So I went in, and I get drawn up. There was no weights, there was no weight categories. I came in against this guy, and he was huge. He was like a bodybuilder, you know, and I'm only 5'3", something. I'm built like this, you know. I've got no muscle or anything, and this guy was huge. He was huge, and I went up against this guy, and basically I walked up to the starting position, and I could physically hear everybody laughing. You know what I mean? Because they're just like, this poor boy's going to get trounced, you know. And it was that kind of, it was Scottish wrestling, where it's called Scottish backhold wrestling, where you link hands like behind your opponent, so you both got it. You're not allowed to let go of the grip, and you've got to try and throw each other from there, right? So is that like a traditional Scottish type of wrestling? They do it in France as well. It's called gawd.
They have similar
wrestling.
stuff in India too.
Yeah, they've got that as well. It's very similar. I know what you're talking about. And what happened was, I went up and we linked arms, and they were like, go, and I threw the guy. So I won the first. It was like 3 falls, you know what I mean, just like WWF. So I threw him, and everyone was just like, whoa, what happened? And then I'm trying to think what happened. The second one, oh no, it's first 2-3, I think it was, because I threw him again, and everyone was just like, this kid's throwing this big guy twice, you know. And then no, I'm getting confused. You got to remember, this was like 30 years ago, so I'm struggling to remember.
It's alright.
I think I threw him, right? He threw me, right? And then the third time, he basically just crushed my lower back and leaned into me, so that I kind of bent backwards.
Oh.
You know, and he just powered me down with all his strength, you know, and he put me down, and that was it. Like, it was over, and I was like, and I won like a £5, you know, it was nothing, but it was like, I just wanted to do it. I thought that'd be cool, and I was like, well, I did it and stuff. And I went back to the organizer guy, and he was like, how'd you get on, son? And I was like, he beat me 2-1 or something like that. He's like, well, these things. He's like, you managed to throw him? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you threw him, that big guy? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, he's a seasoned veteran at this. He's good. And I was like, oh. I was like, I didn't know that. I thought he was just a regular guy. And
nice.
The guy came over, and he was saying to the guy that was running it, and he was like, he said I had to just crush him down to the ground on that last one. He said, because I would have been too embarrassed to lose to somebody who came in the first time. He said I couldn't outskill him. I just had to outstrength him, you know. And the guy's like, what you doing this Saturday? And it was my black belt grading for Taekwondo that Saturday, right? So this was 1997, right? So he said, what you doing this Saturday? And I said, I've got my black belt grading. And he's like, listen, it's Scotland versus England wrestling. He's like, I want you to take part. We need somebody your size, and you'll be fine. And he's like, come represent Scotland and do this. And I was like, I was like, I've been building up to this black belt for 10 years or something. And I was like, I can't this Saturday. And he phoned my dad, and he's like, look, please let your son take part in this. And I was like, no, I couldn't. And so I didn't. But he's like, look, come to my club, come and train with the guys. And that's what I did. And I went and trained with a bunch of the wrestling guys, and some of them were like really, really good, you know, they were excellent. And about a month later, there was the European Championships, and I went over to France for that. So I took part in the European Championships with it, and I was only like a month in, but I got a bronze in it, so I did all right, you know.
That's pretty
well.
good.
Yeah,
how many competitors?
And, it was hundreds.
Oh wow!
It was like I don't remember. It was, I couldn't tell you how many, but there was a lot. And what happened was, we were staying in a dormitory. It was in a place called Lénevent in France, in the north of France. It was, and there was we were staying in a dormitory. And see, the Scottish people aren't the most disciplined people, you know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Scottish people like to drink, and they like to, you know what I'm talking about. Personally, I don't even drink. I don't drink myself, right? I haven't drank like pretty much my whole life. You know what I mean? So it wasn't me, but I like a good sleep and stuff like that. So what had happened was the night before the competition, we were all out in the wee village and stuff like that, and like the whole Scottish team were absolutely drunk. They were all drunk. You know what I mean? They were just, and you think they would be, but we're all very young guys. We're only like 17, 18. You know what I mean? And we weren't taking it that seriously. We didn't know what we had or anything. You know, we were a bit stupid, and we ended up. I remember, like, our coach came in and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" This is the next morning. He's like, "What the hell's going on?" And everyone was just like half asleep, and we're like, "Oh," and he's like, "Come on, you've got to go way in. You've got to go way in." And I remember, like we were talking about the zombie movies. That was me just walking through down the corridor. And I remember walking past like the French room, and they're all doing press ups and it. And I walked through past the Spanish room, they're all doing sit ups, and I walked past each room, and they're all doing exercising and running on the spot and it. And like, me and my teammates were just like zombies, you know what I mean? But like some of the guys won golds and I'm just like, it was pure skill on their part, you know. But I got a
Wow.
bronze, and I thought that was pretty good for like a month of training, you know what I mean? So I did that, and then, so I'm totally rambling here, but I've got, then I started moving into all sorts of other things. I started doing Thai boxing, started doing jiu-jitsu, I started doing boxing as well, just training and all of them. And then eventually, I kind of ended up just kind of sticking to mostly jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu and 10th Planet jiu-jitsu, and a bit of boxing, a bit of Thai boxing, and then MMA, because I've been following the UFC since the start, and then into MMA, and I had one semi-pro fight, and then I had one professional fight, and then my back was really badly injured, and then I
Oh,
had to kind of stop, and that was me. So yeah, that's how I got into it and how I finished up as well.
so wait. How'd you get? Because you showed me some pictures of you in professional matches.
Yeah,
When did that start, and
that's
how'd
right.
you get into that?
Well, I just I'd been wanting to fight in MMA for quite a while, because I just thought I've got, at that time it was about 25 years of martial arts training, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I had all that time of training. I thought, well, it would be a shame not to use it, you know, and try it out or whatever. And then like
Makes sense.
I got a job in a gym, uh, in my work just now. It's like an MMA gym, and it's an MMA gym inside a sports centre.
Is that the
So
one of that mini documentary you showed me?
yes, yeah,
Okay,
that's my work. So
I added that
in
to the
there,
Sniper Fighters playlist.
that's so cool. Thank you, man. That was
Hell
nice.
yeah!
So yeah, so I got my job in there, and I was wanting to get a fight for a while, and eventually like we contacted a bunch of different promoters and stuff. But again, I'm very small, and I was very, very light. So my fighting weight was 51 kilos, right? So I don't know if you know what in America that would be.
120
100,
pounds?
112, I think. I think it's about
Oh, I was off.
112.
I
Or
was
112, 115, something like
okay.
that. But it's like, seeing the UFC, the lowest weight is the weight underneath that for guys, right? So they don't even have that weight in the UFC. I'm far too light for it, right? And so I took my first fight at 57 kilos, and I had to bulk up for it. And when I had to
Okay.
bulk up, I only managed to get up to 53 kilos. So like that was my first fight, and it was semi-pro, and then my next fight was like a professional fight, and that one was at 51 kilos. So it was. So that was me. Yeah. So it was cool. It
Wow.
was cool to do it, but the only thing is, my back get really badly injured, and just, that was me. I couldn't train after that. That was, I've struggled to do any training since, to be honest. I do still do like jiu-jitsu when I can, but Well,
When
up
was
till
your last
COVID happened.
professional match?
I
UFC.
think it was about 6 years ago.
Oh,
6 years
okay.
ago now. Yeah, so it was quite a while ago now. But yeah, that's me.
A lot shorter than mine. My last like actual like competitive match was like 20 years ago.
Really? Well, that's the thing. It was like I got into it, like, for fighting wise really, really late. I was like 35 or something when I had my first fight, you know? So,
Wow.
yeah, so it wasn't ideal, you know? Most people like want to get in their late teens, early 20s, you know? But I was like in my late 30s, you know? So it's not ideal to be starting then, but like, I was never that fussed about it. I just thought it would be pretty cool to try it, you know?
Hell yeah.
That was me.
Now
So
you
I
have
can
that
say
history, that
at least I say
experience.
I've done it. Yeah, I've done it, and
That's
that was it.
awesome.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
Now,
Yes.
how did you get into pro wrestling?
Right. Okay. Well, I when I was since I was in, I can't remember what age I was, but I was in school at the time, and I I seen. Remember I sent you the match to Rockers versus the Orient Express from the
Yeah.
Royal Rumble '91, I think it was,
That's a
or
great
'90. I can't
match.
remember. It was a really great match. That was the first ever pro wrestling match I ever saw, and it was like my uncle had recorded it for me or something off TV, and I, I seen it and I was just like, what is this? You know, and I was just blown away with it. I just thought it was so cool, and I loved just the athleticism of it and everything. And then I just, again, I've got a very obsessive personality. Like I went into like martial arts, became obsessed. Went into pro wrestling, became obsessed. Get into comic books, became obsessed. Zack Snyder, became obsessed. All these things, and that's basically what happened with the pro wrestling as well. And I watched it, and I was I could, I was fortunate I could kind of watch something and just figure out how to do that move with my body. You know,
Mm.
I could pick up quite quick for a lot of things, like let's say a sunset flip. I could just watch it and go, right, I know exactly how to do it, and I could do it, you know. And I used to play with my brother and stuff, and I'd be like pretending that I was the Macho Man, Randy Savage or something. I'd climb on top of the sofa, stand up, like, oh yeah, and jumping off and throwing behind the elbow
Yeah.
drops and all that. And it was what, so I
High
started off
fly,
like
baby.
that, yeah. And then what happened was I don't even know how I came around this, but I seen an advert for a wrestling school, and it was down in it was in Kent, down in England, and it's like Kent is the very, very bottom of England. It's like right on like the channel over to France, right? So it's like miles. I remember the first time I went, it was like a week long summer camp I went to, and it was like there was, I'm trying to think. I think I took 3 buses to get there, right? One was from Glasgow to London, that took about 8 hours. And then I got another one from London to Folkestone in Kent, I think, which was another couple of hours. And then I got another hour-long bus to a place called St Mary's Bay down in Kent. And that
Hmm.
was, it took me 13, 14 hours to get there or something. And I got there, and you just stayed in, it was a kind of a hall, it was a kind of village hall place, but they had beds and stuff, and they had a wrestling ring, and I'd never seen a wrestling ring before, and I seen it, and I was just like, it was like heaven, you know.
Hey.
And I went there, and I met so many really, really cool people. And the coach there, his name was Andre Baker. He died a few years ago, unfortunately, but he
Oh, I'm
was
sorry.
such a cool guy. He was a real character, you know, a real
Aw.
character. But he was brilliant. And they just taught you how to wrestle properly. And he'd actually had a fight with Dan Severn, who a
Really?
professional MMA fight with Dan Severn, and it wasn't counted as a fight. It was a
Like exhibition?
they counted it as an exhibition because it was on
Okay.
a pro wrestling card or something. But I'm sure
Okay.
Andre told me it was an MMA fight, you know. But it was, the thing was, it was a Dan Severn was a very strong wrestler, So it was mostly like a wrestling match, you know what I mean, when you watch it. So it never get put on anyone's record or anything. But I remember seeing it, I remember seeing the video of it and everything that looked legit to me. So that was pretty cool. So, and I remember he had applied for the UFC himself, and he taught a lot of what they called back in the day shoot fighting, and it was basically like basically what MMA is now, but they called it shoot fighting back then because this was in the early days of the UFC. And I remember he had an application form for the UFC, like the early UFC, not the Zuffa owned UFC now where it's all very polished in it. It was like the
have a
the
lot of
original one.
rules, especially with like elbow strikes and all this stuff, right?
Yeah, I think there's about 30 odd rules now, but back then
I remember
the
when
rules
UFC was
there are no
illegal in
rules.
America.
Yeah, that was about that time. It was about that time because I remember he showed me the form, and the form was like it said on it something like if you're, what was it say? It said something like if you die, it's at your own risk. You know,
Yeah,
all these,
it's like a
you know
death
what I mean?
waiver.
Yeah. I basically that's what it was, and I was just like, wow. But he'd applied. He never got accepted, but he did apply for it. But he was a great guy, really cool. But I went down to it was called the Hammerlock School of Wrestling, which is a kind of famous British wrestling school, and a lot of really top UK stars came out of there, which was cool. And when I went there, I've told you before, one of the guys that I befriended down there, his name's Johnny Moss, and now he works for WWE. He runs, I think, I'm not sure exactly, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's something like he runs the NXT division
Oh,
for
so
the
he's in
UK.
the yeah. So he's part
Yeah,
of the
he
performance
coaches,
center.
Yes, he coaches the NXT guys, I think. That's what I
Oh,
can,
nice.
that's what I'm taking from, like, I've got him on Facebook and stuff, and I see it now, and I'm just like, this is really cool because he had a, like, when we went down there, like, I tell you, like, I was obsessed with stuff, but he was in a different level from me. He was like mega obsessed. Like, everything I knew about wrestling, he knew 10 times more. And I told you I used to wrestle in my living room with my brother, jumping off the furniture, but he'd actually built a wrestling ring out in his back garden with like tree stumps and wires, and you know, and
Whoa.
I remember he'd sent me a video of him wrestling in his back garden, and it was like an ECW extreme match with his pals. The stuff these kids were doing was honestly is legendary. I would love to be able to show you. I
Yo,
don't
some
think I've got it
backyard
anymore,
wrestling
but
is works of art, man.
well, this is
Definitely.
one of them. This was one of them. It was
Wow.
like, and the thing was, he was probably about 16, 17 at the time or something, and the stuff he was doing, like moonsaults and like he built this wrestling, like it looked like the ropes looked like wire, you know what I mean? But he was jumping onto them, bouncing off, doing moonsaults, and you name it, they were hitting each other with chairs and like ladders, everything. You know, it was like a proper.
Wow.
If ECW just put it up on a big screen, people would have went crazy for it. You know, it was that good, and he became like a top British wrestler for 25 years, something like that. And he went all around the world. He wrestled in America, he wrestled in Japan. So he really, I'm so happy for him because he lived the dream. You know what I mean? And now he's made it to the big time, and I'm really happy he managed to do it. It's awesome.
That's so
So
cool.
it's really cool because it's just like one of these things. Like if you really believe it and you really want to follow through that dream, then it's possible. And it might take you. It took him 25 years to get to WWE, but he's there now. You know, and I'm like, he did it. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I believe in hard work. That's
Yeah,
good.
no
So wait,
doubt.
you made it into PWI Top 500 Pro Wrestlers one
Yes,
year.
I did.
Was that
Yeah,
like the hottest year for Rob Carlin? Like,
I think it was. Yeah, because it was basically my coach Andre just told us, he's like, I've submitted you and Guy John and a couple of others. I've submitted you guys for the PWI 500, and I was just like, what? And I was like, I'll never get into that. And then I got my number, and I was like, oh, Did it?
Hey,
You know, so that was really cool. I really liked it. That was a sweet thing he did. Yeah,
dang.
really cool.
Yeah, one of my buddies, his name is Dino Winwood. He's been like a manager of Cesaro, who's in
Right,
WWE, a bunch of other
awesome.
guys. He's a great guy, great character. And
That's
I
cool.
think last year was his retirement run.
Right.
And then COVID happened, so unfortunately, I
Uh,
don't think he got to do much of it. And it sucks because I didn't get to see a lot of his matches
yeah.
live at all. I've only
Uh-huh.
seen it online, but
Right.
uh,
That's a shame.
the passion put into pro wrestling, it's almost like Zack Snyder. Like people get it wrong.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it's fake. Blah, blah, blah. I hate that
Yeah.
because that's kind of like dumbing it down. It's like saying, "Oh, a
Yeah.
movie has a script." Because
Hmm.
a lot of people, I think if people understood more of what it was like, just like if people
Yeah.
understood Snyder Cut, they could. You don't have to like it, but at least you could
Hmm.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
For
Definitely.
what it is. Because pro wrestling, to me, it's a huge art form because it's a
Hmm.
performance,
Yeah.
but it requires athleticism. So for
Hmm.
me as a filmmaker or director, I love seeing actors do their own stunts,
Yeah. Hmm.
and
Yeah.
nothing's greater
Exactly.
than like pro wrestling as that. And
Well.
as far as like, like a stunt show, it's like the best thing
Hmm.
in the world.
Well, if you look at when people go, oh, it's fake, right? And I'm like, well, is Game of Thrones real?
Right?
You know what I mean? It's like, do
Yeah,
those
we have
dragons
like
exist?
people
You know?
fighting and to the point where they cyberbully each other over the fact of a fictional character being inaccurate. How many
Yeah.
times do we see films and and biography films of like
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln or even Bruce Lee, and they fib here and there, and no
Yeah.
one says shit.
Yeah.
And then, but a
Exactly.
fictional character, oh my god! And then they're like, oh,
You're so
fictional
right.
action is not for
Hmm.
me. I was like,
Yeah.
come on now,
The, the thing is,
what's up?
I'm in quite a unique, well, not a unique position, but not many people have been in the same position I have, where I've done pro wrestling, I've done pro MMA. You know what I mean? Where I know, and people say like, oh, wrestling's fake and stuff like that, and I'm like, it's it's not that it's fake. It's just it's it's a totally different thing. It's an entertainment. You know what I mean? And if you look at what you do, it's like if you watch any TV show, right? If they say you watch, I'm trying to think of a TV show, right? Like say Game of Thrones, right?
Okay,
We'll use that as an example, right? So you've got Game of Thrones and they mess up the lines. All right, okay, take two, okay, mess up the lines, get up, take three, take four, take five. We got it
mm-hmm.
right that time. You don't have that in wrestling. Wrestling, you go out and you have to get it right every time. If you mess up, the whole world sees it, right? And believe me, I've messed up. I know, so I've been there.
I
But
kind of know
what
that
happens
pain
is,
too. Yeah,
yeah, well, there's that, right? So you're basically acting that way, right? But and you'll know the outcome. You know who's going to win at what time, right? So it's not a competitive fight, right? It's not that. You know the outcome, but the training that you do for it and um, the work you have to put in, the technical knowledge you need to know is very similar to MMA in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like, you need to know how a match will flow. You know what I mean? And
mm-hmm.
when I watched my early match, or when I watched the matches I sent you and stuff, I was like, I didn't understand that concept of the flow as good as I thought I did, because I remember it being a lot better. And when I look back at it, I go, oh, that's not as good as it should be, because you'll see when I'm in my matches and stuff, there's times where I've done a move and then I'm just kind of standing there waiting. There's no active movement from me. And you watch WWE, that doesn't happen because they're polished professionals. It's just there's levels to it, and I can see that now. Whereas at the time, I just thought, yeah, I'm as good as anyone, but I clearly wasn't. It's just over time you look back and you go, right, okay, I see what I wasn't doing so good then. But the bumps you take in wrestling, I've never taken anything. Like in MMA, I've never been hurt as bad as I have been in pro wrestling. Pro wrestling, I've been hurt way worse than I ever have been in MMA.
It's
So
crazy like that,
when
huh?
and the other thing is they say it's fake, and you say if you've ever been in a wrestling ring, it's literally like we used to have to build up the wrestling ring before we put the shows on, right? And what happened was you've got the metal frame, right? You've got wooden boards that go down, and then you've got that kind of carpet underlay that's about this thick. That's all that's on it, and then the canvas. So people think they're jumping on a trampoline or cushions. It is not. It's solid.
I mean, there's give on the wood.
Yeah, well,
But that's not a
used,
pillow.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how they do it now. But we used to have a big. It was like a kind of a giant, not giant, but a big kind of spring thing that goes underneath the board, so that the boards don't snap. You know what I mean? And it might have been a slight shock absorber, you know. But believe me, when you fell on it, it was solid. You know, it was like if I fall on the floor just now, there's no difference. You know, it wasn't as if it was a big, like, see when you go to martial arts, you do jiu-jitsu or judo or whatever, if you get thrown in the mats, you're getting thrown on a big thick mat like this, you know.
And also, the closer you get to the edge of the ring, there's less give.
Less padding.
Because I've seen pro wrestlers do like backflips and land on their feet, but because of the pressure of it, and because they extended their leg, they bust out their kneecap.
Yeah, that's horrific. Yeah, but there's no, like, when you fall from that kind of height, there's ways to break your fall, to break falls like you do in judo and stuff, but it helps to spread the weight. You still there?
I'm still here. I see you're paused, but I can hear you. It comes back. There you go. It's just
that happened to me as well. That's okay.
All right.
But, I can't remember what I was saying there. Get distracted.
No, you're talking about the give.
Oh yeah, I was saying when you fall and like you can spread your weight a wee bit, but it's not like it doesn't take the pain away. It just lessens the pain. You know what I mean?
Like any break fall.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very. People can say it's fake, but it's basically it's a determined outcome. Is basically the only fake thing about it.
Because you still have to win the show.
Yeah,
you still got to outdo your opponent, your teammate, who's your opponent.
Yep.
And together, you kind of have to steal the show. You know.
Yeah.
So, I make the argument that that's where the competition is in performance.
Yeah.
Much like you know how there's no knockout in an MMA fight, and then they take it to the judges.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like you're judged on the performance, just like figure skating or anything, and that's considered athletics too. So it's kind of in a weird limbo, but that's why I think it's beautiful, because it's a fusion of athletics and performance. And so I used to fight in sparring at my kung fu school. Then one thing one of my teachers told me, my sifus, he said, I'm a great fighter, but I'm not going to be a good fighter for competition, because he knows you. When he sees you fight, he like see into your soul or something. And he's like, okay, you have no fear, but you also have no care to win.
Yeah.
You're just trying to do your best, and in order to do competitive, you have to kind of care to win, to push yourself further. And he's like, and I'm cool with this. I was like, that does make sense. Where I kind of hit this plateau where if I was to enter a fight, I won't be afraid. I don't care if I win or lose, but I won't be afraid. And not having fear is what I care about most.
Yeah.
But what I did love is the art, because he said your form is really good. I was like, thank you. So what I did when I got to
your
college,
form is good. I've seen that.
Thank you.
Remember that spinning kick at
SDCC? And that's without warming up too. So
wow.
The thing is, because I was just handing out flyers for Snyder Cut all day on Comic-Con. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, so then what I loved the most about martial arts was the katas, or the forms. And for me, the next level, what I discovered was the next level of my martial arts, of the forms, because that's why I like to study more, the art side, turned out to be dance. I thought,
Right.
and
Yeah.
now if you think, dance is the same thing kind of in professional wrestling, where when you do a live dance, if you screw up, you can't take it back. You can't do a
Yeah.
redo unless you're doing a music video.
Mhm.
But because dance, you're in like, you're doing weird things with your body sometimes.
Mhm.
In like 3 years of fighting, sparring, like MMA stuff, just in the school, I didn't get any injury.
Right.
But 2 years of dance, I got like 3 injuries.
Wow.
You know, in that same kind of like, because you exert yourself on purpose. You're not
Mhm.
protected in natural things. You know, you're
Mhm.
elongated or whatever. I got a bad back from dance. I got a pinched nerve here. I pulled some muscle at one point.
Mhm.
So with pro wrestling, it's even magnified, I think, because you take
Mhm.
those. Uh,
Yeah, it can be. Can I go back to the point? See, you were
yeah,
saying
yeah,
about
yeah.
how you're saying about how your coach was saying like you were saying like what you care about is having no fear and being able to do it, but you don't have that urge to win, you know.
Hmm.
And do you know it's strange? See, before my first fight in MMA, I was in the locker room with my brother, and I was sitting there, and I was like, I'm a bit, I was a bit concerned, and he was like, "What's the matter? What's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm just feeling a wee bit." And he's like, "Look, you've got this." He's like, "You've been training your whole life. You'll be fine." And I said, "No, no, no." I was like, "I know I'll be fine." I said, "But what happens if, say, I grab this guy and I grab his head and I knee his face and his nose bursts, and his
Oh.
mum's sitting there in the front row watching this?" And he's like, "You can't think that way." And I was like, "But what if that? I don't want to hurt
Oh,
like
you're so
somebody
caring, bro.
that way."
That's what I feel.
That's what I was talking about to him, and he was just like, "Look," he says, "he wouldn't think twice about doing it to you." And I'm like, "Well, I think that way, you know." And I think that definitely goes against me fighting wise because
Mm.
I don't have this urge to hurt somebody. You know, I'll technically like to pick somebody apart, or whatever, and outmaneuver them. You know what I mean? That's fine, but I don't have that urge to hurt somebody or something. And I think that's probably if I don't have that killer instinct to really hurt
Mm.
someone, you know, and that kind of not that that never held me back because I was never competitive about it, but I'm like that was just it struck a wee chord when you said that. I was just like, yeah, I know
I'm
where
glad
you're
you said that, because I
coming
did
from with
have a
that.
talk with one of my seafoos about like,
Mhm.
they're like, what would get you? They would talk to me as like, what would get you to exert yourself more?
Mhm.
Um, and I said, well, if my life was on the line,
Mhm.
and in sports or sparring,
Mhm.
your life is never really on the line.
Yeah.
And
Uh
I
huh.
feel like that's where the true
That would
fight is,
kick
to
in.
protect yourself, and that's
Yeah.
the only time I care about. In a lot of
Mhm.
situations I'm in, I'm a peaceful monk, so it's not even
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
if it does, I'm not gonna be afraid. But that's
Yeah.
something I'm not planning for. Always find
Mhm.
peace, you know. So yeah,
That's
guys like
cool,
us, I
man.
don't think we have able bone. But I would
Uh
like to
huh.
have fun now.
Yeah.
We are going over Justice League length, which is great. I think this
Yeah.
my podcasts are always long. We're just,
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
you got to go, let me know.
I'm
But
okay just now, man. Yep.
what I would like to do to end
Mhm.
this show
Yeah.
is watch and commentate with your matches that you send me.
Yeah. Cool.
And if we
Sounds
have
good.
time, I'm curious to watch a indie match on YouTube with you. I think I
Right. Okay.
could be cool, but we'll see. If
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
we could see
Cool.
it another. But let's definitely watch your one.
All right. Okay. Cool.
But I would like you
Sounds good.
to let me know all the details about it.
Okay. I will do.
Now, I just got to remember at 36 minutes and 59 seconds, we got to stop it. Otherwise, it'll go to the WWE thing on your tape.
All right. Okay.
All
That's
right.
cool.
So
Yep.
let me see how we could
See.
do this. I'm still learning StreamYard, this
Mhm.
app and whatnot. Here we go. This is on a private link. So, do you recognize
Yep.
this match in place?
Yes, I do. Yep.
All right. Where is this and what's the promotion?
This was in Birmingham, in England. I'm sure this was,
Yeah.
and this was I can't remember the name of the place. The but it was a wee wee hall in Birmingham in England, and it was against guy Johnny Storm, and this was my first ever professional fight.
This is Johnny Storm?
Yep, this is Johnny Storm. It was
The Johnny Storm? Yeah. I've heard Johnny Storm before.
Maybe heard of him from the Fantastic Four, maybe. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I swear I heard him wrestling, but yeah, Fantastic Four probably.
Yeah. But yeah, well, this guy, he was really cool to me. He helped me a lot because I'd never met him before this night, and I just get told you're going to be matched up with this guy, and we just got put together in the locker room, and he was a great wrestler. He did loads of matches. He had a wee following and all that, so I was quite lucky to be put on against him.
Nice.
And he really he knows how to work the crowd, and I couldn't have asked for somebody better for my first match, because it was like anytime I didn't know what to do, he knew what to do. You know what I mean? And but you'll see he carried me through it, and you probably wouldn't notice he carried me through it because he does it very well. You know what I mean? So I'll point out parts you'll see. You know what I mean?
Go for it. And if you want me to pause in any part, I will. Shall we start now?
Go for it, man. Yeah, go for it.
All right, here we go. Hey,
so
look at you, bro. How old were you?
I was about 17 here.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah. So this was. Oh, so remember he threw me back here, yeah, and then.
Hey. Ooh, that kick is nice.
That kick. That wasn't actually meant to be the kick I was to do. I was meant to do a different kick there. I was meant to do a jumping, spinning back kick, so it was like a straight kick. But my leg came round from the side, and it really hit him. So
yeah,
a wee bit accidental. And I did that was like a wee Rey Mysterio thing there, but you didn't really see it in camera. You know where he swings out through the ropes and
in. Yeah, you did the little 619, huh?
Yeah, but I caught my leg in the rope a wee bit. I'm sure that's made it a bit messy. Yeah. But this was guy Johnny. He'd come up with this wee sequence, and I was like, it was brilliant. It was really clever.
Oh!
Missed the kick, and then he kicked me in the face there.
Hey.
And I remember like the kicks. I think pretty much all the kicks landed and stuff in this. So
nice.
It did.
Do you wear mouth guard or anything, or?
No, there wasn't any mouth guards, nothing. No. Do they wear mouth guards in wrestling there?
Yeah, some do. Especially ones that make contact. I gotta show you some good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Ooh.
That was cool. Moonsault he did there.
They're not pulling in Wonder Woman now, are they? They don't have to, they know he is.
5 minutes gone, doesn't seem like 5 minutes. You hear them say that over the microphone there?
No, I thought it was 30 seconds.
No, sorry, over the microphone.
More than I expected. Very beautiful, isn't it?
Over the microphone they said 5 minutes gone, and I was just like, surely not. But I don't know. It's crazy. And then he throws me out the ring. But see, stuff like that, it's like, when you go out the ring there, like that's a solid wooden floor. You know, it's just like I think this is called like a working man's club or something like that. Where they get like the pub and guys can come and relax.
It looks like a bar.
Set it up. Yeah, pretty much. It's like a big kind of hall with a bar at the end.
The ref looks like a waiter.
He was a wrestler himself, so he was. That's how he was quite tall. Yeah. But this was like, you can see the whole time here, like the other guy Johnny Storm, he's in control here. He's guiding me through everything here. You know, I'm not taking any initiative at these points.
This is your first match.
Yeah, it was true. Yeah. And he was like choking me on the ropes there. And then he's working the crowd, telling him to shut the hell up. And then at this point he's choking me again, and he's whispering, and he's like, right, you move this time. But I didn't know when to move. I was like, I've just got to time it right, and I was lucky I just moved at the right time. So
you weren't even looking at him coming. Nice.
No, I couldn't see him, I didn't know. I was just like, I'll move now, and hopefully it worked out well.
Wow.
So then, I think it's a nice wee kick that comes up here. I can't remember, I think it is. Yeah, it is. do his spin kick.
Dude,
And
that's my finisher in Snyder Cut Fighters.
Yeah, well, I tell you, he sells it well, so he does. Yeah, your finisher's cool, man. I do like it.
You just
You
did
can
it.
see I've used it, yeah. But you see, like here, you'll see this is where like there's an elbow drop, 1, 2,
Oh,
and then he puts his hand in the rope, right? So like you see me here, right? Like this bit, I just kind of wander away. You know, I'm kind of not too sure what to do.
You
and
could
try
have
another pin.
there.
Well, see, this is the thing. Is like I was inexperienced at this time, so it's like I went for a pin, I didn't get it, so I went for another pin. But looking back, I'd be like, why would I not work on something to tire him out and then go for another pin? Stuff like that. I can see, you know what I mean. So I can see
a lot
where
of
all
this is
the
improvised.
yes, pretty much the first sequence we knew what we were doing. Everything else is improvised until the final.
The
finish.
finale or whatever, right?
And like this, I remember this. So that was quite,
oh snap!
yeah, that was quite a distance to fall. That was quite
Oh
heavy.
yeah, and it looked like you took it.
Yeah, I did.
Ah,
I didn't have much option.
Those people are checking if you're alive.
Yeah, I think people are quite concerned, but see when I was younger, honestly, I was fearless. I would say to them, I'd be like, just throw me, do what you want. You know, just I just wanted them to like sell the match. That was all I was interested in.
Oh,
and see that, like, I didn't know if I was meant to catch him or not, and I just panicked and ran. And I was like, well, worked
really?
out for me. Yeah. Because the thing is, it's difficult to talk to each other at these times.
Yeah,
and, like,
I can imagine.
This one here, like, he took that one, which was great, helped me out. There's times where you'll see, if you watch the next match, you'll see that doesn't happen, and it ended badly for me.
Oh no.
Yeah. But again, like, you look here, like, I leave him outside the ring and I'm just standing waiting, because I don't have that experience to work the crowd. I don't have the experience to go work on him outside the ring, you know. So it's like, that's what I mean about he carried me through these matches. I'm just kind of like, come on, let's go, you know. I'm still hanging about, you know. So when you watch these things, I'm like, there was a lot more could have been done in these moments, but I'd never had that experience or anything.
I see. It's still a great show because there's so much good moves.
Yeah, I'm quite proud for my first match. It was pretty good.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
And like some of the, like, you see some of the moves there, they're pretty cool. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't feel, well, to me it doesn't feel that dated. You know what I mean? Like, the moves are pretty cool moves still.
You're doing some cool stuff that even I don't see a lot of WWE guys do.
Yeah. That's nice, thank you, man.
You know,
And
like
again, I went to ropes because he did it earlier. Yeah. But then
I put money on you over Roman Reigns for show.
Oh man, thank you. I don't know if I'd put my money on that. Now, see this? Listen to this, right?
Like, I see Daniel Bryan status in the making here.
Well, see these chops, honestly, they were agony. They were so painful.
No, I got
it was
chopped too.
I always thought, before that happened, I always thought that was just regular kind of. I just thought they were regular type show moves, and I didn't think they were sore. But then when I did it, well, I felt it. The pain was incredible.
Yeah, there was a guy I knew that worked at a department store. He did announcing for indie wrestling, and he was going to be my in to training. But before we talked about it, I didn't do it because I went to dance and I got injured anyways. Right. So he gave me a chop for real. I was like, oh wow. He's like, if you could take that, then you're good. I was like, yeah, all right.
Honestly, that's probably one of the sorest things I ever got was chops.
Wow. Ooh, sit down powerbomb.
Oh. I'm actually surprised I kicked out of that. I must have been having fun because I looked sore. Looks really sore.
Yeah.
Man, he was good at working the crowd. And you see, he had a belt there. He picked up a belt and then hit
Yeah.
me with a belt buckle.
Was that from his dad or who?
I don't know where it was from. I think that was
I
like the
saw a
ring
guy with
announcer out there.
just handing the belt. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So that was him hitting me with an illegal foreign object,
As I said before, the crowd are the most
quoting Gorilla Monsoon there.
Ooh.
That was cool. That was a cool move. Yeah, that was deserved. Yes, that was my first match.
one chatting to you. Yeah.
It's quite cool as the guys there at the bottom with the ECW t-shirts and they were clapping and stuff, so I'm like, oh, they must
Hey.
appreciate it, you know. So
Yeah,
that was quite cool to
That's a
see.
win right there.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, fair enough.
And what year is this?
Not the referee's decision.
I think this was maybe about 1998, 1997, 1998. In fact, earlier. In fact, I think it was about 1996.
And here's the other match.
Something like
Where is this?
Yep. I think this was in Kent, in England, but I'm not too sure exactly whereabouts. And this was the guy that I was fighting was called Dean Champion, but that was actually his name was Dean Champion, his real name. So like just used it, you know. And he was the problem with this match was he was like a kind of baby face, and I was a baby face.
Oh,
So I think-
this is like a bunch of good guys.
Yeah, so it's never the same, you know. It's never as good. But
Someone still has to be the dirty one to fight.
yeah, well, I think he kind of again, he'd been around before, so he kind of noticed this. And I think what he did was he started changing during the fight and started becoming a bit more of a heel to create a bit more atmosphere.
That's where the magic is.
Yeah,
Ooh,
It's
nice
quite-
Russian
it's-
leg sweep into a pin.
but there was some quite good kind of technical wrestling in this one. I quite like some of the stuff in here. It's quite good. So this is in this match I get really badly hurt. And see that wee move there, the wrist lock, and then I do the wee kind of somersault out of it. I kind of came up with that myself because I remember seeing for years, like you see guys in pro wrestling and what they'll do is they'll get the wrist lock and they'll do a forward roll and then they'll roll back and do a kip up. And I was like, and in my mind I was like, it'd be faster if you just did a somersault. And that reverses the wrist. So I kind of come up with that. So I used that a few times because I thought that's quite cool. I come up with it myself.
Hey.
That was quite cool. That was a kind of lucha style move, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
northern
I
style.
love it. Ooh, that
Old time.
chop to the face.
Yeah.
Leg drop, nice.
And do you know, see the chop when he hit me in the back of the head? I remember, I'm sure my face hit off the actual wrestling ring as well. So it's quite sore. It's quite sore. Neck snap there, then a drop kick.
Ooh. What's he
And
saying?
he goes in. Do you know what? I have no idea. I
Okay.
can't remember what he's saying to me.
Ooh, zoom in.
Yep. And then I reverse it there, then give him a couple of kicks.
Hey.
And you can see that one connected because I
Yeah,
fell
well,
over
on
with
the
it.
side of his head.
Yeah, it was quite a heavy one. But yeah, he took it no problem, he was fine.
Yeah, because if it's a scrape, it's usually not bad. It's
Mhm,
usually when
yeah.
full on pressure, you know? Ooh, beautiful moonsault, bro.
That was a nice moonsault, wasn't it? I must say.
Yeah, I like
that was
it.
Nice.
That was good.
It's weird, it's weird watching myself doing this. It's strange, you know.
I think it's great, man.
See
This is
that leg
fantastic.
drop there. I think
Yeah.
that leg drop. I think what happened was I'd got up on the ropes and didn't know what to do. I
Oh,
was just
really?
like, oh, yeah, I think so. I was just like, I'll just do a leg drop from here. But I think there's a point here you can see I get a real bad injury coming up. Not this, but there we go. That was good.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. He does some nice stuff in this one. He's not happy. He's like, pin him.
Oh man.
But like these points here, he's telling me what we'll do and stuff, and I'm like, okay.
Ooh, there's a truck in the audience.
So,
yeah, those horns. Oh, are you gonna fly? Are you gonna fly?
Yep.
Nice way to spin so you don't hit the people.
Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional or just the way it worked out, man. But this bit here, I remember I'd said to catch me here, and he moved. And now you see that bit. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And what happened was, when I landed on the ground, my arms were out like wide, and I hit the ground from that height. I landed chest first on the ground, and you can hear listen carefully. You can hear a noise like, and that was me. I couldn't breathe. Hear that noise? That was me. I couldn't breathe at all, and I genuinely thought I was gonna
like a dying goat. No offense.
Well, I thought I was gonna die at that point because I could not breathe whatsoever. It was as if my lungs had totally collapsed. Because I jumped off that top turnbuckle and landed chest first.
And your chest was
on the
open
ground.
Too.
Yes, yeah, I totally went open, and I went bang, and I couldn't take a breath. And I remember sitting on the ground like, and no air was coming in, no air was going out, and then all of a sudden that noise came out, and I couldn't control that noise. That noise was just like, I didn't know where it was coming from, and I was just like, what's happening to me?
Dang.
And
see, when I first saw this, I didn't understand.
Yeah. Oh, you see, I rolled in and out to break the count there because I'm like, I want the match to continue, but I was in so much pain. And you see the guy here that they've sent out, that was the guy I was telling you about, Johnny Moss. That's Johnny Moss that came out to check on me from the back
because it's too much.
They knew something went wrong at this point, and that was the guy that's now in the WWE that works for NXT. He came out to check on me. He's like, something's wrong, because he knew me well at that point. Like, we'd been training together. Like, I was training with him a lot for lots of different things, and we'd talk all the time on the phone and that. And you see, he was like, give him a minute, because he must have been asking me, saying like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Can you continue? And I'm like, give me a minute. If I can get my breath back, I'll be fine, but I need a minute. And I remember my chest was I was in a lot of pain at the time. But you see here, he's working the crowd to distract him and stuff. And that gave me a bit of time, and it gave me time to get my breathing back and everything.
Wow.
So that kind of helped me. Because
usually
we were just
talking about wrestling being fake.
Yeah, well that's one of the instances you see how, and again I was saying how things can go wrong. You get a second take, a third take, don't get a second, third take. And you see me try to breathe there, heavy breathing. There was no faking that. That's not fake. That's just. And you see, the guy Dean that I was wrestling here, Dean Champion. What he does here is brilliant, because you watch. He locks up with me, right, and he knows I still need a breather, so he puts me in a headlock, gently puts me down, and just lets me roll over, so I can still get my breathing back.
Nice.
So that really helped, and I was just like, that gave me an extra 30 seconds. To breathe.
That's good teamwork. That's really good teamwork.
It was excellent, but it was like the guys down there, they were very well trained, you know what I mean, and you can see it from that. And then you see he starts shouting at the crowd and starting to turn heel, you know.
But that's a good moment, because you've just come back from a possible dangerous injury or moment.
Yep.
So the crowd is like on your side by default.
Yep.
And then he chooses to be heel, which encourages that moment.
Exactly, yeah. So
wow,
it was
that's great. That's pro.
And again, well, that's what I was talking about. It's like this was only my second match, I'm sure. So this was like I was still finding my feet at this point.
Hey!
Did your
Kojay
kick again? There we go. Too close to the ropes. Yeah, we need to rename that the Kojay kick. That's cool.
Well, I call it the tiger kick in Snyder Cut.
Right. So what? There's a minute left in the match, he's saying over the microphone there. So 60 seconds left, so basically we just need to pin each other if we can. So this is a cool wee sequence because this was totally. We just started doing this. None of us prepared this.
Really? Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, yes.
So I thought
Oh,
that
I
was
love
really
knowing
cool,
the improv
considering it was
stuff,
just.
man. Oh, I thought you were gonna go for a dragon sleeper there. Oh, nice. See, those MMA skills come in handy.
Yeah.
Because also, you gotta know how to fight to react in moments of like unexpected situations.
Last 6-5. Wow. And you'll see again after this. You see how I'm lying there. I look dead. That was not faking anything. I felt that way. I felt. I was in agony. My chest was so painful.
Wow.
I was struggling to breathe.
Dang.
But I was trying to finish that match. Look, you can see I'm still holding my chest. And you see again, a pal, Johnny Moss, came in. He's checking on me there, and he's like, "You okay?" And I was like, "I'm not okay, man. I need some help." So he helps me. Yeah, he helped me back to the change room. Again, none of this was faked. I was in a really bad way at that point.
Wow.
And do you know the funny thing is, see, when I got back to the changing room, they were building a website for the promotion at the time, and they wanted to get my photo taken. They wanted my photo taken for it, and honestly, the photo, I was like this. It's the worst photo I've ever had in my life. It looked 10 times worse than that. Because they're like, make a pose, stand tall, and I was like, I can't. Yeah, I just couldn't. Like you see here, I'm not faking behind the curtain. This continued for about an hour after it, and my chest was sore for a long time after that. I don't know what I did.
I just want you to finish the story.
No, that was. I was just saying my chest was sore for a long time after that, and I don't know what I did. That like it just healed itself naturally, but I don't know what injury I actually caused. But something. It was really like I felt as if my lungs had completely collapsed at that point. Dang. Yeah, so that was a wild one. That was crazy. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me wrestling.
Yo, I had a match and I went for what a good opportunity. I thought the guy wasn't, his name was Muhammad, right? I would always fight this guy. I liked fighting him because he was taller than me, right? And he was stronger than me, and he was fast. I was faster than him though, so I really liked fighting him. I felt he got the best at me. But there's this moment where I was going for a roundhouse to his head because I thought it was open. Right. But he was dodging, and I thought he was dodging, but he was actually going for a sweep. So my leg was going this way. He got my supporting leg. So I did this and then kind of went this way, and I landed on my side. All the air was pushed out of my body. And then I had to do this like timeout thing. And then that's when he's like, oh, okay, I'll stop. We always communicated. It was too much. And then I just remember seeing a crap load of stars, more than ones behind my wall. And I was just like, struggling to get a breath. And then when I got it, I just breathed really slowly. And he's like, hey, you want to go again? I was like, next week. But it must have been 10 times worse for you, though, because it was just on the chest. Because the center part is a lot of bone, but hitting it,
Well, I've been hit. I've done, as I said, I've done judo and wrestling and all MMA, and I've been thrown in my back, I've fallen in my back, and I've had the wind completely taken out of me, and it's the most horrible, uncomfortable feeling. Sometimes, like, when you've been punched in the stomach and you've not been tensed, and you get that same winded feeling. Oof. Nothing compared to that one. Nothing. But if you look at the height that I jumped at from the top turnbuckle, and I landed on a solid floor, it was a solid wooden floor from that height. Chest first.
Because you were expecting him to catch you.
Yeah.
So when people catch you, you open up more to decrease the impact of the catcher.
Yeah, well, the thing is, see, when I went up there, in my head, I was Jimmy Superfly Snooker. So I was like, arms out and chest expanded and everything, and he just moved out the way at the last second, and before I processed what was going on, I'd hit the floor, and I still remember the noise it made off my chest on the floor, and I was just like, what happened? And I was like, I can't breathe. I just can't breathe. And I was like, nothing coming in or out. And I honestly, for about 30 seconds there, it felt like I was like, I'm going to die. I can't breathe. I'm going to die. And the crazy thing is, back then, I couldn't have told you if there was any medical on standby or anything. I don't know. Probably not, because when we went down there, remember I told you we used to do shoot fighting stuff down there.
Right.
What would happen when you go to the wrestling camp is they would teach you wrestling for a few hours a day, and then for another couple of hours you'd do kind of MMA, because they didn't have security at the shows. So they said, if anyone tries to come into the ring, you need to be able to defend yourself. So they wouldn't employ security, they would make sure you know how to defend yourself. And they would do that with all the guys. So all the guys got this kind of training.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it was pretty cool, you know. And
that's fantastic.
They did different kind of levels and gradings and stuff like that as well. Then it was really good. It was really cool. But that was why we did it. So they didn't have their own security. I might be wrong, but I couldn't tell you if there was any medical people there either. But
probably not.
I'm guessing.
So let's carry on. Where is this place now?
Do you know? I don't know where this is. It'll be down. Right. I think this is down in Kent. This one, and I'm sorry, this guy's name escapes me. I can't remember.
I'm bad with names too. Shame on me too. So don't worry. All right, let's continue and keep talking, man. Let me know what's up.
Okay. Again, I don't even recall this this match. That was quite cool.
That was great.
Yeah. Oh. So backbreaker there.
Now you have no knee pads, just that one elbow pad, right?
I don't know. I used to wear knee pads and elbow pads and stuff, but I don't know what's happening in this one.
Okay.
And this one.
Oh yeah, you do have knee pads.
I do, yeah. This one here. Look, I'm rolling my arms, right? And in my mind, I was going to do a shooting star press, right? I was going to do a shooting star press off the apron, and halfway through, I get too scared, and I was like, and I just panicked, and I don't know what happened.
That's why you kind of freeze halfway.
Yeah, so I don't even know what that was. So these are just clips of other matches.
Ooh.
Oh, that was a heavy one. That was heavy.
Now who's this?
This was another. I think his name was John Ryan. I think he was a kind of seasoned veteran down there. He was a good heel character. He
has good pacing, you can tell.
And I'll tell you something. He hit hard. I remember that. I remember everything he did. Like it hurt. I remember when he dropped me onto that knee, there was no helping me out of that, you know. He wanted it to look real, so he would sell it, you know, he would properly sell it, and he would hurt you, but not in a bad way, but that was his style.
Yeah,
the British style was quite hard.
Like he hurts in areas that don't do damage.
What's that, sorry?
So he's hurting areas that don't do damage.
Yeah.
Like a chop.
Yeah, and I remember he walks me into a ring post at one point. That was cool. That was nice.
I love
it. Yeah. He walked me into the ring post, but like he actually, boom. I remember he belted me into it. You know, it was sore. It was quite sore. Like here it is. Like, you know, there's no holding back there, and it's like right on your spine, and then it's a slam. You see the wooden floor.
Yeah.
You can see
there
my
was
face.
No give, just splat.
There's no give. But it's like the British style of wrestling. They like it to be hard. You know what I mean? It's I think.
Yo, have you seen Walter in
style.
NXT UK?
Sorry.
Hold on.
What was that?
I think the show's too wild. Let me ring it down. No, there's this guy named Walter in NXT UK. He's insane. Full contact.
Right.
You gotta check him out.
Nice. Awesome.
So go on.
Yeah, so like this guy, this was like I liked this match. You can hear the crowd were right into it. They were enjoying it.
And you look a lot more seasoned here.
Yeah,
Like
well, this is a bit later. Yeah. I don't know what this is.
Oh!
There's my Superfly again. Oh.
He kind of swam through the air at the top of it. It's like he paused in the air for a second.
Yeah. And this was me trying to go for like a kind of Hurricane Rana, Frankensteiner.
Oh.
And we'd spoke of that to finish off the match. We'd spoke of that at the start. That was how we were going to finish it. But it wasn't the best executed. And then he's just asserting the fact that he's a heel. Just even though he's won, he's still kicking me when I'm down.
Ooh, now where's this? Oh, this is all your training now.
Alright, this is my train. This is with John here. This is Johnny Moss here. This is our training. And this was at the place I told you about where we went and the wrestling ring was there and that. This was us learning the ropes and training with each other. And I feel bad that I never actually got a match with John because like we trained together a lot and some of the stuff you'll see some of the training stuff here is pretty cool. We both like the kind of lucha style and we practiced a lot.
That's my favorite style.
Yeah, we practiced a lot of that, but we never really got to showcase it.
Oh really?
Yeah, we never got a match together.
You got this podcast.
Oh, there we go. We got this. But again, this was us just practicing stuff at the wrestling. You can see my Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt there, my 316. That's how long ago this was. It's crazy. Oh, and this running powerbomb.
Yeah.
Oof. But this is like some of the stuff's really.
Yeah, I gave you that move in Snyder Cut.
Yep. Well, there we go. That was like kind of lucha type stuff.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice.
I used to like the bridging suplexes and stuff. I really enjoyed doing that. But if you watch my matches, I don't think I've even maybe did one or two, but not too many to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
I always liked that middle rope moonsault. I always just thought that was effortless when you bounce on the middle rope. It just sprung me right over. It felt easy.
More than the top rope?
Yeah. I thought with the top rope, it's like it takes too long to climb up. No, that. Like you see, like
that's
that.
True.
Like
yeah,
we worked and we moved like that to get into like DDT and again, do you know, I always loved doing like Frankensteiners, Hurricane Ranas and stuff, and I never ever got a chance to do it. Like these type of lucha moves and stuff, I never actually got to perform those in matches.
Alright, gotta watch out for the 36-minute mark, otherwise WWE's gonna get mad at us.
Is that Johnny Storm again? Yeah, that's another match with Johnny Storm, I think. Yeah. Do you know, I don't even remember having 2 matches with him. That's crazy. But it was a long time ago.
He seems so familiar.
Yeah.
Did he go pro later?
Well, no. Well, this was kind of like, these were like pro matches in the UK. You know what I mean? But I never did any other promotions or anything.
Okay.
In fact, I do remember this. This was in Kent. This was in Kent again. And this was in a kind of, it was like a big ballroom type. And this move, this twisting splash, right? I remember seeing Too Cold Scorpio do that years ago. And but he did it really, really nice. It was like mine's kind of all over the place. His was just perfect. He was such an athlete. It was incredible. Wow, that was a nice.
That was good.
And that was it.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh. All right. So again, this was a wrestling. This was a wrestling train here, but again, this was me and John again training, but this was in a different. This was a different summer camp, so this must have been like a year later or something. And you can hear those kicks. I was properly kicking him there.
Yeah, I saw him brace.
The thing about John is like, wow, you honestly you wouldn't believe how tough this guy was.
No,
this guy
I believe
was
it. I see it.
like super tough. I remember that first match with Johnny Storm that I had, right? Wow. The first match I had with Johnny Storm, that same night, John made his debut, but it was in the main event against my coach Andre, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember they had a battle, and they both liked to go hard, you know, go heavy. And what happened was, I remember they were full on just standing, punching each other, bare knuckle. Like, I mean, they were not holding back. It wasn't a fake, nothing. They were punching each other, and the blood was pouring, and they made it like a hardcore ECW match. But
wow.
it was more like a bare knuckle boxing match with no rules. Plus, they were kicking, throwing each other on the concrete, on the wooden floors, and hitting each other off the ring post, everything. And what happened was, we were staying in a hotel that night, and we went back to the hotel. I was sharing a room with John.
Can't see any of that.
And I remember him, and John would like see, after all, that was cool. After all the training we'd do and stuff, I would say to John, I would always complain. I'd be like, oh, my shoulder's sore, my back's sore, my elbow hurt, my knee, you know. John would never say anything, ever, right? And this one night we were in the hotel room, he was like, I'm not feeling so great. And I was like, oh, what's up? And he's like, I just feel a wee bit lightheaded. And then he just passed out and fainted. And I was like, yeah, and it was just me and him in the hotel room, and I was like 18 or something. I didn't know what to do. I was like, John. And I was checking, and then he woke up. But I think what had happened was, during that fight he lost a lot of blood, and I think he just lost too much blood and he passed out because of it. But he was like, that was the only time I ever heard him say anything, and it wasn't even as if like I feel sick. It was like, he's like, I don't feel so hot, you know. That was all he really said. So that was him. Just, he was always very tough, very tough. Listen to these chops. I'm sure that's the chops I remember.
Aye, that's through the shirt.
Yep.
Obviously, probably.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear.
You hear me reacting to it. And you can see like that move that John just did there. Like, we copied, I copied a lot of his moves anyway. So I think you'll see another one. Where I did that handspring in the elbow in one of the other matches.
Wow, I like that flying elbow you did.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
You remember where this is?
I think this was this might be Margate in Kent, I think. It was all down the south of England we did these matches, apart from Birmingham, which is a bit higher up. Again, this guy's name escapes me. I really like this guy. He was really cool, but I can't remember his name. It was 30 years ago. I'm sorry if he ever sees this, but
well, he can comment.
Yeah.
Correct.
But he was very I'm not gonna say unrefined. That's has a good kick. I actually nailed him with that.
Nice.
He was very unrefined in the way that like he was scrappy. Look, this move here. This is the one I was talking about. Like, so like we exchanged a lot of moves with each other. But yeah, he would frog splash. That's cool. He would do a lot of stuff, and it was just very rough. Like he punch and kick you, and it would be scrappy and just there was no holding back. I like this. This was a cool finish we'd come up with here. So he goes for full Nelson. I break it and I go for full Nelson. He breaks it and he tries to slam me, but I roll over and take the pin from behind there. I think that was my first win. You see how happy I was?
Oh, that's great.
And this, I think this might have been later on the same night.
Oh, the same night? Was it like
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the format, but I'm sure it was the same night.
Was it like a
and
tournament?
This guy, yeah, I think so. I think this guy was Alan something.
Okay.
Maybe Johnson, Alan Johnson, maybe something like that. And he was a lovely guy. He was from Sheffield. He was really nice. He's a big gentle giant, but you see in this he's a bit of a heel, but he's a lovely guy in reality. And what this is that's a slam and a half.
That's a huge stroke slam.
That was huge.
You're very limber. When people pick you up, you're like,
yeah.
Boom, boom.
What this is off the stage here. Ran up on the stage.
Hey.
That was cool. I liked that.
That was great.
It's weird. Seeing I'm watching this, it's like a lot of times I'm watching it, I'm like, it's not even me because it was so long ago this happened. It's weird. It's strange. But it was me. It was just.
Isn't it crazy you doing that back then? Would you know you'd be watching this here fighting for Snyder Cut?
Nah, I never have thought that. Never.
The stars, man, the line.
Yeah.
Oh, tiger kick.
Yeah, I think I needed a bit more height in that one. He's a big boy.
Yeah, but it looks like you landed on the chest with your foot.
Yeah. At least it landed. Oh, missed.
That's like my favorite kick to do in real life too, by the way.
What's that, sorry? Your
I call it
favorite
the tiger kick, but I like that.
It's awesome. I love it. He's another one that likes to ram you into the ring posts.
I noticed a trend. They're like, yeah, it's Rob, let's put him in the ring post.
Yeah. I'm surprised I managed to get up the height with that when I jumped up onto his shoulders there.
Yeah? Oh!
And that was clearly me going for a suplex and could not carry him because I wasn't strong enough, so I just dropped him.
The Goldberg right there.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it.
Yeah. Oh, nearly. That would have been a cool finish there. That was sweet.
Oh, here we go. Ooh, top rope. Oh no, interruption.
Boom. There we go. And that's it, I think. I think that might be time to finish the video. I don't think there's anything on after it, is there? I don't want you getting your copyright. That is. Yeah.
No, I want to. I hear the people chant your name. I want to hear that. Dang.
Aye, Alan Johnson. That was right. I was right. That was him. Yeah.
Hey.
So that's nice. That was cool.
Hey,
yeah, thank you for putting that on for us, man. That was really cool. It was nice to see. Because the thing is, I've seen that like when I first did those fights on a video on my old TV years ago, and then when I got them reproduced again, I've only ever seen it on my phone, so it's always been a wee tiny screen, so you don't really see it as good as that. So that was really cool. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm glad, man.
Yeah, it was
well,
nice.
This is now the podcast with you in it. You can watch it anytime. But hey,
cool.
I'll hook you up with those videos too. I'll cut them up for you so you could use them, because I think you got that thing to be converted to digital with your tape that had the Raw episode, which I liked watching.
I didn't know.
That's why you can't post it, because that's WWE.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that Raw was on the end of it.
I didn't know either, because you told me this was a collection of your work. So when it went to WWE, I was like, oh, he lied. He did go to WWE. What?
Oh, no.
I watched the whole thing. I was like, where's Rob? Where's Rob? I was like, is he a referee? Does he make an appearance in like the story? But I enjoyed watching the whole thing.
Sorry,
took me back. No, it's cool. It took me back. I love that stuff, man.
Oh, that's so crazy. Because it was just like, that was what I had recorded on the video previously, was WWF stuff, because I was always watching it. and then I just recorded over it with my stuff. That's what happened. I never made it to WWE. Never made it.
But you know, you did make it to Snyder Cut Fighters.
Yeah, well, hey, that's better, to be honest. That's it. Well, it is, because it's actually making a difference in it. It's really making a difference for me. So
I'm glad.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and I'm very honoured that you built me the character on Snyder Cut Fighters. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I have to thank you
fantastic.
because I've always made the custom games in that. I love that, and I love customization. And it's like, you know, I can make my own dream pro wrestling thing, and you know, make my own matches and work on my own commentary. You know.
Yeah.
So originally, I was making the Snyder Cut title, and I was going to do a show of WWE fighters fighting for the Snyder Cut title. So fans of, like, let's say, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, or fans of Roman Reigns, or fans of Goldberg, or whoever, you know, of the WWE caliber people would be like, oh, let me see this match, and oh, Snyder Cut, hey, let's think Snyder Cut. That's how it started.
Cool.
But then I was like, I had this idea. I was like, whoa, what if I make it off of, because I found out you wrestled. I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool to show you in the ring? And then ever since I made you, I was like, hey, what if I do more? So because of you, in a way, Snyder Cut Fighters is here. Otherwise, without you, it wouldn't be here at all.
Oh man, that's so nice. Thank you, man. That's so cool.
No, thank you. It's like that organic thing of how when we connect with each other, we create something good when we share something sincere, you know?
Well, the amount of work you put into it must be immense, because like I'll show my brother and stuff. As I told you, he's not really on social media at all, but I'll be like, check out this, and he's like, whoa, and he's like, that looks like you, and everything. He's like, that's the way you move and everything. And if people watch this and they see my matches, and then they go back and watch Snyder Cut Fighters, they'll be like, oh, and you hadn't even seen that when you started creating my character.
No, I didn't. But I just went off of
the moves that
you told me you had.
Yeah, wow, it's so crazy how you managed to do it so well. That's
brilliant. But now, since I got to see it again with your commentary, I know what moves to add to you, because they do have the stuff where you jump from the middle rope. Just plug it in my computer and do that moonsault. So I think it's going to be fun. Because in the show, I said whoever has the title, by the time the Snyder Cut comes out, I had no idea when the Snyder Cut was coming out when I started this, would retire with the title. Your last match, your character's last match is on the 17th, the day before Snyder Cut comes out. It's with my boy, Def Justice, so I'm torn.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so you either retain or you lose it.
He's good. Well, hey, I've had a good run, haven't I? I've had a good run.
Dude, you held the title for over almost a year.
Wow.
I think so. I have to look when your match with Goldberg when you won it. It's cool to say that.
Yeah.
Rob Carlin beat Goldberg.
I beat Goldberg. Yeah.
Which is poetic justice, in my opinion.
Now I should have a higher number than the PWI 500 after that, surely.
I know, right? Oh, man.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome, man.
I feel like it's time for ending thoughts.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, we've come this long way, man. What has this whole journey meant to you?
Oh. Do you know, I just feel like it has been a journey, because when we started, what we were doing was, I was like, I want to see a different movie. You know, as I said earlier, it was just about seeing a different movie, and then it became about so much more, and it became like, we need to help Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder and all the cast and the crew, and then it was like, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew, because it was like, first of all, it's like, you want to help Zack, and you're like, yeah, let help, and then you're like, oh, and Deborah as well, because she's a producer and their family and stuff, and then you go, oh wait, Ray Fisher's meant to be the heart of the movie, then Ben Affleck had an amazing Batman script and was ready to do the Batman movie, and that get taken away from him, and then you're like, and there was a different cut of David Ayer's Suicide Squad, and each one came out, developed, and you're like, right, well, it's not just about Zack, it's about everybody, and it's like, it's not about seeing one movie, but it came from that one wee thought of, I would like to see a better version of that movie, and now it's like, we've got so many other things that we want to, and then now I stand with Ray Fisher stuff as well, and you're like, there was all that stuff, and you're like, right, well, we need justice for him, and we need justice for everyone else that wasn't treated right as well. So, and the crazy thing for me is it feels so weird that I'm sitting in my house in Glasgow, in Scotland, never met any of these people, and I'm standing up for them like, hey, Warner Brothers, sort your stuff out, you know what I mean? And like, it's weird because I'm not the only one. It's like there's millions around the world that are all in the same boat. We've all got the same mindset, and we're all like, no, this needs to be fixed. And it's not about Superman and Batman. It's nothing to do with that. It's more about the people and their real lives and how they've been affected and how we can change it and better it. And for us to have been able to change history the way we did, it's like every little thing that happened for a reason. You know what I mean? It all happened for a reason. And like, and when I say like every little thing, I mean every tweet that anyone ever sent out. It sounds kind of cliche, but it did contribute to this, because when you think about, like, did you see the article that came out, and it was talking about how Zack was talking to the executives at Warner Brothers when they got the cut released, and they said, like, the Sesame Street thing. Did you hear about that? And
yeah, the FMO.
Like, yeah, but I'm like, we all did that. It was like they were putting up stuff and we were like, release a Snyder Cut, release a Snyder Cut, and we're like, we don't care about Elmo, we want that. And it was like everything that Warner Bros. Put up, and people were saying, and don't get me wrong, right, people were saying, don't do that because it's so, what's the word, it's, these people are just trying to promote other shows, and you're being nasty to other shows by spamming it with release a Snyder Cut and all that. But that is one of the things that Zack used as ammunition to get the Snyder Cut. But I can see in a way when people say that, it's like, it's not the nicest thing to do to just constantly spam somebody, but it worked at the end of the day, you know? So like every little tweet that went out, every phone call that was made, every letter that was made, and I'm like, the cool thing about all of this is we were all in it together, and it's like strength in numbers because we all did it together. We all did it as one. You know, we didn't do it like, well, you know, this is pure, again, getting back to the cliches, but it's like us united. Like, we all did it. We all did it. And I think, see if we want to get the rest done. I know I'm totally getting away from your actual question, but
No,
I'm
you're answering
here.
great. Continue, please.
But to get the rest of the whole Snyderverse, I'm talking about Ben Affleck's movie, the David Ayer's Suicide Squad, to get all that stuff, to get justice for Ray Fisher, we all need to be together. You know, we all need to be as one for that. And if we're fragmented, it's not going to work. And I really hope we can get the whole movement back together on track. And a lot of people say the movement's fine because maybe they've divided away from another segment and they're like, we're fine. And I seen another thing I've seen is the hashtag that they're using. So like there's a trending event coming up the 14th of February, and it was like, we're expecting to get a trailer that day, and it came out, it was like, it's going to be hashtag Zack Snyders Justice League, and then people were like, nope, it's going to be hashtag Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I saw
and
both
like,
of them.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't see and I've seen people saying, nope, we're only using Snyder Cut now, and other people are like, no, we need to use both. And I don't understand where it's coming from, like, that we must have. I understand we should have one, but if we've got one trending one day, another trending another day, I don't see the big deal. I don't see what the problem with. And I've heard all different arguments. I've heard people say that if you put up Snyder Cut, a lot of people from outside the movement don't know what that is, and they're right. And I've heard people go, no, because I said to my friends and my friends knew it, and I'm like, maybe your friends do, but my friends might not. And see, if I say to like 99% of my friends, if I say, you know what the Snyder Cut is, they'll be like, nope, they have no idea what I'm talking about. You know, if I go into work and I just ask any random people, I'm like, have you heard the Snyder Cut? I guarantee you about 99% of them don't know what it is. If I said Zack Snyders Justice League, they might be like, oh no, Justice League, what's that? And they might not even know Zack Snyder, you know? It's like, we are so immersed in this bubble, we know all this, this is our lives, right? Outside of our lives, it's very, very different. So we need to get some kind of unity where we all come together and just do it as one, you know what I mean? I don't have the answer to it, unfortunately. I can't say we'll do this. I can't give you that answer. But I thought it's a bit unfair when I saw the hashtag up and it was like hashtag Zack Snyders Justice League, and that's what's being promoted. And then other people are like, no, Snyder Cut, and I'm like, come on, man, you can't. You're actively derailing something here, you know, because now half the people are going to put up Zack Snyders Justice League, half the people are going to put up Snyder Cut, and you're going to get half the results for both, you know. And that's where we're going wrong. That is where we're going wrong. Whereas if we all did, hey, I think maybe just I don't know what to do, but we need to find something that we can all just go together and say, right, okay, this is what we're doing. I don't know, but at the end of the day, what it means to me is the fact that we have changed history as a movement. And people from all walks of life, all different ages, all different backgrounds, we've all came together and we have changed history. We've reversed a timeline. It is the first time anything like this has ever been done, and it's like the people
on
that
the
made
scale
the difference.
too.
Yeah, and you know, it's like that old thing where like you've got the kings and the kings talking to the masses, and then the masses uprise and they go, "Whoa, that's only like one person." You know, we could take over. We could be doing what we want to do, and it feels a bit like that because we've never had we've never had a say in what movies come out, what movies don't come out. We've never had that, and never. When was it a time where they said, "Hey, would you like movie X or movie Y?" We've never had that before, you know. Until now, it's like we've campaigned so much to get the Snyder Cut of Zack Snyders Justice League. So it's like now we've managed to make that difference. We've opened a door, and hopefully, what it will do is just because of what all of us have done, it will spur on other generations of like the movie companies to be looking at them and saying, right, well, I can't just cut this guy's movie up. I can't just, and hopefully not just movies, hopefully it'll go into music and all sorts of other entertainments as well, and it's like the artists get what they want to do, and it's not a production line of, oh, what sells, right, comedy sells, put that in the movie, you know. Deadpool's a success, let's cut up Suicide Squad and make it funny, you know.
Right.
Hopefully we leave a legacy from it. And I know a lot of people think we're so toxic and we're and there is obviously toxic elements in the fandom, but people think that what we're doing is, like, you bullied Warner Brothers, you did, and I'm like, come on, we bullied the multi-billion-dollar corporation? I don't think so. I think what we did was campaigned to try and get justice for people who were bullied by the multi-million-dollar corporation. So I think what we've done is generally is a pretty good thing. And I remember there was even reports coming out saying that what we'd done was terrible and it's a bad precedent to set and everything. I'm just like, that's corporate Disney spin, you know, or Warner Brothers spin. I don't know. It's probably both of them. They're both pretty similar to me at the moment.
But, I know what you mean.
But yeah, that's and I'm just, the journey. It's meant a lot to me because it's taken up the last 3 years of my life, and it literally has. It's like all my free time that I've got. It's like campaigning.
Yeah.
It's just trying to, and I know I'm not like the main person that's been doing it. I'm just one of many, many, many people. But as I said, all together. Like, some people have done more, some people have done less, but we couldn't have done it without all of us together, you know? So, I don't know if that answered your question. I don't know.
I think you did.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah. I think I think it would be nice to see on the trending news both Snyder Cut, Zack Snyders Justice League, Joker, Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing some MCU stuff. It was like Avengers and then like Iron Man, you know?
Yeah.
I do see what you're saying, spinning it, but if there's any kind of well, there is a lot of
There's a lot.
no in politics within the fandom that
Yeah.
clash like this. I like to stay out of it, but
yeah, I'm the same.
because politics is something else. However, I think it would be okay if it's like healthy competition. Healthy.
Yeah.
If where people want to tweet Zack Snyder's Justice League or Snyder Cut, try and outdo each other, then they can kind of both kind of rise.
Yeah, that's cool.
That'd be cool too, and just put
I
the
like that
energy
idea
into
because
that. Then it
I
would
like that
probably
idea.
double or triple for both.
That's cool because it could be like Batman v Superman. It's like Snyder
Exactly.
Cut versus Zack Snyders
Snyder
Justice
Cut
League.
v Zack Snyder's Justice League. The
You
hashtag
fixed
dawn
it.
of Justice
Son
League.
of the hashtag.
There we go.
That's
I should name
that's a
this
great idea.
podcast like that.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think we should actually try and do that. Try and make
Why
it
not?
that because see the
Turn the negative into a positive.
exactly because at the moment like it's like one side's promoting one side's promoting the other one, but they're actively trying for you to not use the other hashtag.
That I don't like.
But that's my main kind of gripe with that is because thing is it doesn't matter who's doing what promotion, but if somebody's doing a promotion, we all got to support it. But I've seen so many times one side does a promotion, the other side just refuses, doesn't even acknowledge it, and I'm like, they're only going to get half the trend. You know what I mean? Because they didn't organise it. And I'm not saying it's. I don't even think it's about clout. I think it's just disagreement, and they're like, I don't like that person for the personal disagreement we've had, and I'm not going to support them. You know, and I think that's the way it is. I don't think it's about, oh, I'm not supporting it because I didn't come up with that idea.
No, it's just people are angry at each other.
Yeah, well,
for whatever, for multiple reasons.
Yeah, I've read a lot on Twitter. I try not to read it, but it's difficult to avoid it because it's all over the place. But you see people saying they're not supporting it because they didn't come up with it. I really don't think that's what it is. I think it's just they've had a personal disagreement, and they're just like, well, I'm not supporting that person because I don't like them.
No, some people come at me. They don't support me because I'm not a true Zack Snyder fan because I like certain things, but I don't entertain that. But I see where it is. Like it happens, you know, a difference of ideals.
See, this is the problem. It's like Batman v Superman again. It's like they both want the same thing. They both want justice, truth, all that stuff. They want it all, the exact same thing they want. They have very different ways of going about it. And that's like our fandom. Everybody wants the same thing. Nobody's out derailing anything, but people believe that the others are because they're not doing it the same way they're doing it. You know, I might be wrong, but that's the way I see it anyway.
No, it's true because in a way we do value the same thing because you'll have like let's say Collider make fun of a child passing away, and everyone who are enemies with each other were on the same page.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah,
I believe that we can come together in the moment. It's just that when there's times when we don't have to come together, people can't get together. But they don't have to be together. Just put that energy into the hashtags that you believe in.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Snyder Cut, Zack Snyders Justice League, it's still the same film.
Do you know one thing, Stephen, you mentioned Collider, that Frosty, the meme, that one thing alone is making me desperate to make Snyder Cut a success. Because I just don't want him to have anything over.
No, I'm so disgusted by that.
I'm the exact same.
Lot.
Oh, and the fact Collider didn't do anything about it, I'm just like, oh man, they're just.
In a weird way, they justified it too.
Yeah, they're twisted. They're absolutely twisted. It's not. It's not. It's just, you know what it is. It's disgusting. It really is. It's just the most horrible thing. Anyone that does that, it's like you see that kind of thing, and I put out a tweet and I get hundreds of likes on it because I'd seen somebody said to Ray Porter, don't ever, if Collider ever asks you for an interview, please don't entertain them. And they put up the thing with Frosty laughing. And Ray Porter said, I can't remember what he said, but it was something along the lines of, well, if I would give him an interview, it'd be hard to be civil with him or whatever, you know. He's like, I wouldn't, but if I did, I'd have to hold myself back from hitting him type idea, you know. And I was like, sorry, did I say Ray Fisher? I meant Ray Porter, sorry. Did I say Ray Porter? I don't know. But anyway, it was Ray Porter.
I think you said Fisher, but I thought Ray Porter because I knew what you're saying.
Well, Ray Porter, he'd said that, and I retweeted it, and I just said, look, you know you're on the right side of history if you're fighting on our side because of this. Like, you know, if you're laughing at a father's grief, you're on the wrong side of history, full stop. That's it.
You're on the wrong side of humanity.
Exactly. And there's no way of getting around that. You know, that's like, you're wrong. 110%. There's no way you can be right at that. So, in my eyes, I'm like, you've been fighting a good fight all along. And you can't, there's not much you can say to change my mind.
Yeah. So, there's a little story that is about hope I want to share with you and, you know, our little audience here is that there's this patient I've become chummy with. You know, he's in and out, and you know, on lunch break I see him. We're talking out. This guy had a car accident where he flew out, broke his head, skull broken and everything, and fractured his arm and everything, whatever. And he slipped into a coma. But as he was slipping into a coma with the paramedics, he says he remembers it, and he remembers being pulled away somewhere, like inside. He can't describe it. But he does remember being conscious while he was slipping into the coma. Like he could see the people around saying that, oh, this guy's gone, or whatever. And he had surgery with his brain and everything, and his left arm is completely non-functional, you know.
Right.
And when they did the surgery, they said he had a 5% chance of living.
Excuse me. Wow.
And he's alive, and he says he counts his blessings. And the way he walks, of course, you know, it's like all handicap, right? And someone at a department store called him a effing cripple. Like he gets ridiculed sometimes, but this guy had the most purest heart and everything. Very kind, despite all that stuff, and he's still trying to get back to himself. He too was had dreams of being an MMA fighter before the accident, and it sounds so tragic, but when I was talking to him, he was so filled with light, and he was telling me how much he liked drawing superheroes. But he can't because he was left-handed, and that's where the arm was down. So I shared with him a little story. It was like, well, in art class, they taught me the drawings you make, like if you draw here and it's tiny right here, you're seeing the whole picture, so the motion of your hand can cover everything. So I said maybe, because they taught us that in drawing, you use your whole arm for bigger canvas. So I said, if you have the biggest canvas you can find, and with your arm you big circle, just draw the same art but bigger. And he was like, oh my gosh. So I was telling him more technique, and he was getting excited. So then
that's really cool.
It was cool. But he also told me, as like an exchange, right? I don't know. He said that things don't happen to you, things happen for you in life. Right. Now, to elaborate, we talked more, but what I mean is like things happen in life, accidents, things that set you back or challenge you or whatever. And that's like for you to get stronger. But there's a difference now when what happens to you is by the choice of another human being. Right?
Yep.
And then I was thinking, and then we both came to the realization what that is. That's not something for you. That's called injustice. So things that happened to Zack and that got us in this situation is injustice.
Yeah.
And then the way that we came together is something that happened for us, for him, for what I hope we do for film history and the art of cinema, you know? Because this camaraderie, coming together and all that And like, you know, there's some people who hate me for whatever reason, because I think it's mostly because of difference of opinion, which is fine. Oh shoot, I'm losing my train of thought. But the whole thing is, even if I don't agree with some people, I know that they're promoting Snyder Cut, so I just let them do it in their lane. Because one thing I care about more, when I got into this movement, I knew, first off, I was sold to fight hard in the movement when I met Zack at SnyderCon for just a brief second, like everybody else in line. It's not like our homies or anything. We don't need to be, you know? I knew his film was finished. I got that from him, and I saw that he genuinely cared. Seeing that sincerity to his own work is something I was like, all right, I can go distance for this work to happen, because then that would be correcting an injustice to what I believe in film, what I believe in other people, and someone whose work I appreciate and want to see flourish and learn from and enjoy, you know? So when I got in the movement, I don't care about knowing Zack Snyder. My family, I have some family in the film industry. We know some big names. So I'm like, whatever. But I like to fight. I like to work hard so my idols become my equals. Not rivals, equals, you know? I don't want any negative stuff. So when I got into movement, I figured we can't get stronger unless we get more people on board, you know? More soldiers, just like in 300, the battle, the message they said, and then in the end you see all these Spartans together. That ending is what I would like for the movement, and we need people. So I came in here for the people, you know. I could be famous now, I don't care. It's just that if we keep this trivial tribal battles, well, not trivial, I don't want to step on anyone's feelings, but the purpose to be right all the time at someone else's expense to put them down is super counterproductive, and it looks like everything's more click in our movement, whether you're right or wrong. And I would like our fandom to be like Star Wars, where if you like it, you can get in. It's like an amusement park. It's accessible to everybody. When it's too tight knit and click and not inviting, our numbers are not going to go up, you know? And
that's true.
And this is for the casual fan too, to enjoy quality film. You know what I mean? Because the coolest thing about being at Comic-Con and handing out pamphlets with my brother and Jeff Purdy and Andrew Escobar and a bunch of others was connecting with people. And I've done charity pamphlets before for church and other stuff. So it was no problem for me and my brother. And my brother, when I turned around, he was always like, his first thing he did was handing out wasn't like, hey, support, will you please? He just went up to the person and said, hey, support the movement. Hey, support the movement. They support the cause. And then people are like, huh, what's this? Oh, I saw this. And then we said, no, this is director's cut with more action. And then just a little bit, and they're like, what? Really? All right. And we're like, hey, did you like 300 this? We're like, yeah, I did. Yeah, that's that movie. Oh, what? You know, it was when people know what's available and that's good, they'll come. They'll like it.
No, definitely.
So I think we got this whole hype coming back with like Snyder Cut, Zack Snyders Justice League, whatever trending events. I feel if we get back to that energy of hashtag release a Snyder Cut and treat it to whatever hashtag you want, I think we'll be victorious and we'll be flourishing and we'll help everyone get quality stuff. And I think we could do it. If we just if we fight like we did before to get us here. Since we're here, why not? You know?
Makes sense. Makes sense to me, man.
Hell yeah. We're like 16 minutes away of Zack Snyders Justice League runtime.
well, at least we've proved we can watch it without going to the toilet. So that's good.
it literally feels like 90 minutes or an hour talking.
It's been fast. It's been really, really fast. It's been cool. But it's cool because it's been so long that we've been messaging each other and all that, but not actually physically speaking. So it's been cool.
Yeah, really man. Cool. I look forward to one day
thank you.
Seeing you in a bar and we'll have some pints.
Yeah, I'll have a wee pint of Diet Coke.
We'll have a pint of Diet Coke.
There we go.
A beverage is a beverage. As long as you're in good cheer, it's fine, whatever it is.
That would be awesome.
All right, I'll
I'd love
have
that,
water on the rocks, you know, like a gangster. Put a lemon in my water, man. Put a little tree, little umbrellas, you know.
Aye, the cocktail umbrellas.
Cocktail water
Fantastic.
umbrella.
Oh man,
So
that'd be cool.
I guess we'll end it at you.
Excellent.
In like
No
3
problem.
hours, I gotta get ready for work. So
Oh no, I'm sorry, man. You
no.
must be exhausted.
No,
It's
this is a blessing, man. I'm glad you came on. Maybe we'll do something else, but either way, we'll hang out.
Yeah,
Regardless,
we'll do it again.
I'm glad you came on
Yeah.
the show, dude.
Yeah, me too. It's been nice. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Cheers, man.
any last thoughts you want to end with, and when you do or not, tell people how to find you.
Just find me on Twitter or Vero, and I'm on Robert Carlin or my Zack V Comics page. You can go on that and scroll through, because lots of people just see what they've seen, but if you go right back, there's over, I think there's about 120 different parallels on there so far. So there's a lot you can look through. It's pretty cool, and I've looked back a few times because lots of people send me stuff and I'm like, yep, I featured that, and I'll send them a screenshot and they're like, oh, I didn't know you did that. So you can check it out, man. Some cool stuff. It's not all me. There's lots of other people have contributed to it as well. So
Beautiful.
But yeah, that was another thing. Because I was going to say just quickly.
Yeah.
I was going to say I might. I was thinking of starting up a Zack V Comics podcast type idea, just like this idea. And I was going to maybe ask your help with it, because that would be cool. And it would just be to get like a couple of the guys that helped me, plus maybe yourself, and we could just like chat about some comics or something. But it just I don't know. I've not thought of it too much, but I just thought like that would be a cool thing to do, because I'm always like, I'm not really into making podcasts or anything like that. I don't have the technical know-how. I don't know how to put stuff out. But it'd be cool to chat about the actual comics with people that know about them and understand Zack's movies and all the connections between them and stuff. That'd be cool, you know.
Oh yeah,
So
I'd be happy to help you, brother. You know?
Yeah,
we got this far. Remember how to take the?
Yeah, I know. How did we do it? Honestly, the technical issues were incredible this morning. I was like, oh.
No, we did it great, and I think it's
so
worth
thank
it.
you for all your help. Yeah.
Hey, anytime,
but we
brother.
got it. But yeah, and just I hope everybody goes supports the Snyder Cut, and nobody pirates the stuff. Go take out a subscription for HBO Max, pass one on to a friend as well, gift it to them, tell all your friends, do everything you can to promote it for us, and try and get the big numbers if we can. Restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah, with success we'll get more.
Yeah, exactly.
I have faith it'll do well.
I think if we all, I keep saying this, like when we were sending letters and making phone calls to Warner Brothers and stuff, the amount of people that said, I'll buy 10 copies, I'll buy 5 copies, and I'm like, now's your time. Now's your time. Put your money where your mouth is. Buy a subscription for someone, send it on, do a nice thing, and tell them to stream it on the day it comes out at least, you know? That's it.
I'm gonna buy a lot of copies.
Yeah, me too. Well, I just want to try and get as many as we can for HBO Max. That's the main one, you know?
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
Then, because, you know, we'll be buying the copies anyway when they come out, like in Blu-ray or whatever, you know, we'll be buying them. So, at the moment, I think the main priority is just get subscriptions. Because HBO Max, if it wasn't for HBO Max, we wouldn't be getting anything, you know? So, we need to thank them and show them how much it's worth it, you know? And the other thing is, like, we looked into it before and it was like, you could buy it for a month, but they don't want everybody to sign up for a month and then disappear, and they wouldn't support that. You need to be, don't know, 3, 6, 9 months at least, you know? They want people who are going to be sticking around, so I'll need to check the memberships like again, see, because I know they had a deal on stuff, but it was finishing 1st of March, but I don't know if there's any other deals or whatever, but we'll see what happens. But hopefully we can get a lot of people buying subscriptions. That'd be cool.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, excellent.
I have a good feeling, brother.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got my Shinsuke Nakamura shirt on. So
what's that you got on?
Oh, this Japanese
So,
wrestler, pro wrestler, man. He used to do MMA, and he came out of
what's his
Japan.
name? Sorry. What did you
Shinsuke
say?
Nakamura. Oh, this is just
All
his
right.
logo.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Nice, man. Nice.
It's like
That's awesome.
it's an S
It's
and
like
an N for his name, and it's like a
Shuriken. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
shuriken.
awesome. That's
So
amazing.
you'd
Man.
love him. I'll introduce
Yeah.
you. I gotta catch you up in some of the Japanese wrestling, man. You're gonna love it,
Nice.
bro.
Yeah. I loved Japanese wrestling when I was younger. I used to watch a lot of New Japan, Old Japan. Fantastic, man. Brilliant back in the day. Jushin Thunder. Oh, you met Jushin Thunder Liger as well.
Yeah, I
didn't
did.
you? He
With
was
my
my
All the
guy when
Gods
I was
shirt.
younger.
My All the
Yeah.
Gods shirt was. I was ringside too. See, me and my boy, we thought we were gonna be 3 rows back from the ringside.
Mhm.
But when we
Right.
got there, we were ringside. I was like, oh,
Wow.
I never been. Okay, wait, I gotta show you how ringside we were.
Right.
I have to. Okay, we are gonna be Zack Snyders Justice League length after all. All right. Let's see. I put it on my YouTube channel, so this is gonna be good. But this is a tournament. They had
Right.
2 luchadors,
Mhm.
El Fantasma against Dragon Lee. Now I love Dragon
Right.
Lee, and this is for their tournament, Super J Cup.
Mhm.
And
I think
Dragon
I've
Lee
seen this. I think-
won before.
Mhm.
What's that?
Yeah. I think you showed me this before. I think did you posted it up or did you send it to me? I can't remember. But I'm
I
sure I
probably
saw it.
did
And
one
I
or
was
the
just
other.
like, it was awesome.
That's a short
so
match.
cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and I found out one of
Jushin-
my big videos, the one with Dana Brooke pro wrestler getting injured or whatever. Apparently, I got so many views because it's used on a wrestling article, and it says some fan got this on tape.
Oh wow.
So
That's
everyone from that article is coming to me. Oh, where'd I put it? I'll find it real quick. Oh, here it is. In my playlists. It's just really cool. And the guy busted his head open. And Jushin Thunder Liger was so nice. Like, I was like, hey, it's
Yeah.
okay. He's like, yeah, I'll take a picture. People coming up
Wow.
to him, no problem. And he was like, yeah, no problem.
Such a legend. Such a
He's
legend. I
such a
used to
kind guy. And
idolize
he
him.
actually, yeah, I didn't. He has a match with Jeff Hardy. Like,
Right.
some kind of underground match. Oh, there it is. Here it is. Let me see. If
I
can
remember
get
the
it.
first time I saw him, I just thought he was like an I don't know, a kind of Japanese comic book character or something came to life.
Oh yeah, he was like
his
Ultraman
costume and
looking.
all- Yeah, he was just so cool. I was just like, whoa. The look of him blew me away, and then when he started wrestling, I was like, what? I loved him. Absolutely loved him. I love that picture. See the picture of you there? And Mighty Pigs, this one. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, I
it's
love
really
Mike
cool,
Pegasus.
isn't
He did it. He's a pro wrestling fan too.
Is he? Awesome.
Yeah.
That's nice.
He's dope, man. I love that guy. He's so cool. We have so much in common. We all do,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
So this is ringside for us.
Wow.
Oh, you can hear my own voice.
I got the second one.
Wow.
That's
That
my boy.
That's
This
some
is a
seat.
short one.
Oh, a third one, please. The third one.
This
Oh,
is
look
so
how close
great.
you are. Oh,
It's
he's going
rare they
flying
come
here.
to America.
I feel it. I feel it. I feel it.
And when they
Oh,
did,
shit,
I was
shit,
like,
shit.
oh, hell yeah. My friends actually told me about it.
Oh!
oh.
And Jushin Thunder Liger's right there.
Oh, what? Sitting right there.
And that's a chance. That's the prize, that gold jacket. Oh, here we go.
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Ah!
Wow.
Good
Wow,
times, man. Good
That's
times.
so cool. That was so cool.
Oh, whoa, there's me and my dancing. Stop
Oh,
that shit.
there you
Okay,
go.
cool. So,
that was amazing. That was amazing.
no, it
That
was
so
what
good.
what happened is he did a knee strike,
Right.
but he overshot it. So he
Mhm.
hit him and he went over, and his head, El Fantasmo, the guy who jumped over, his head hit the concrete and he busted open, and he was bleeding throughout half the match. That was a long
boy.
match. That was the final match of the tournament.
Oh.
And it was fantastic. But yeah, if you ever watch New Japan and watch that, you're gonna see your boy
Yeah.
Kojay with his All the Gods shirt,
Nice.
front
Awesome.
row. It's great.
That's fantastic, man.
We gotta see a show one day.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Get some
I like
pints, watch the show. Pints of
Yeah.
Diet Coke
that.
and water on the rocks. We'll be partying like rock stars, watching some pro
Yeah.
wrestling.
That'd be awesome, man. Definitely.
All right. So I guess I'll say goodbye, but I'll talk to you soon. But
Yes,
hey, thank you
definitely.
so much for being here, brother.
No, thank you so much. Where am I here? There we go.
Hey.
There. Figured
Aha.
it out.
Oh, wait. We can wait, where is it? Oh, we can point to each other like,
that way.
ah. Okay, let's stop being ET weird. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
So, I'll talk to you soon, brother. Thank you so much.
I will
Snyder
do.
Cut, Zack Snyders Justice League, release the Snyder Cut, restore the Snyderverse, release the Air Cut, Alita sequel, Alita Army as well. Y'all know what to do.
Hashtag I stand with Ray Fisher too. Don't forget that one.
Hashtag all of it, yeah.
Yeah, all of them.
All right, much
Perfect,
love,
man.
brother. I'll
Right,
talk
you
to you
take
soon.
care, alright? Thanks again, man. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.